It's the AVG Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host. My name is Mike. My co-host, his name is Tyler. Other co-host, his name is Dre Messiah.
Yo.
Anthony, what are you doing, dude? You got some fucking, you're sending some PP pics and they're looking good or what?
Maybe I am.
I mean, hey, listen, I'm not mad at it.
Some mustache and some PP pics.
Hey, dude, I'm looking up some fucking numbers.
Honestly, dude, when you pull up your, when you grow a mustache, you look great.
Headphones.
All right, what are we doing here, dude? I'm starting the podcast. Okay. Jeez.
All right. Well,
all right.
you don't need us to talk.
All right. I know, exactly.
Let's oh, wait, have you started yet or not?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
All right, let's go.
All right.
I don't believe you.
Scotch.
Welcome to episode 8 of season 3 of the AVG Fantasy Football Podcast. We did top 12 running backs last Sunday going into Monday. This week, what are we doing? We're doing wide receivers. That's the next big thing. 2020's looking, I feel like I hear this all the time, is they're always saying that it's the biggest wide receiver class. This is the biggest quarterback draft class, but apparently this year is supposed to be a big wide receiver class. So why not talk about some old wide receivers before the draft happens?
Let's do it.
It's supposed to be a really big punter class too.
Yeah, huge punter class.
Huge.
No, you're right. Pat McAfee has been making a lot of clips about the new punters coming in. He's all about it now. Let's get into it, boys. We all made our top 12 lists. How do you guys feel about your list?
Wait, we? As in?
It's ever changing.
I made a list. Is it good? Maybe not.
It's the best.
Maybe not.
But
but it's not good. You know what I mean?
We'll see how it goes once. Hopefully, no one gets hurt.
Right.
Stay.
Why would you say that?
Because AJ Green last year, man, got hurt. What second minute of training camp and didn't play the whole season.
First round of the
I
training.
wonder, what if someone gets hurt in
that doesn't happen.
Sorry, I didn't talk over you.
Quarantine.
Someone's in quarantine and they like sprain an ankle down the stairs.
Sean
Didn't Tunsil do that?
You know Sean Payton got
Slipped in the shower, right? Or something like that?
You know
Will Fuller.
Wait, you guys know that Sean Payton got
probably.
coronavirus, right?
Yeah, he's good now though.
Yeah, he's good.
Gucci, bro.
Did y'all hear about Dak and he had his birthday party on Friday?
Tons of bitches or what?
And yeah, I guess they TMZ had there was 30 people at his house and Zeke was there, so they're being like, what the fuck's going on? Just had a rager.
I mean, 30 people is not so much a rager.
Well, I mean, when you can't have more than 10 people, that's a rager, bro. So,
yeah, you're about right.
Actually, Walmart be raging.
I mean, I had more people at my party last year.
Oh, cool.
Do you even remember your party last year?
Nope. All right, but that's why I'm not drinking, dude, for a year.
Dude,
that a boy.
do you remember the shower?
All right.
Yeah.
It's a massacre in there.
Listen, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about our top 12 wide receivers. This is an early wide receiver ranking list.
6:45 early, or
Let's do it.
Fucking earlier, 4 a.m.
6
bitch.
o'clock. 6 o'clock early.
Bro, this is like East Coast 3 a.m.
Let's go.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, dude.
Damn, yeah,
Wisconsin time.
Yeah.
Early wide
75.
receiver rankings, half point PPR.
Half point PPR. Great additive, dude.
Also known as 0.5 PPR.
0.5. Yep.
So I'm not sure if Mike's got it up there or not, but we have the top 12 consensus out of all 4 of our lists. Like I said, it's an early rankings. The draft hasn't even come yet. Haven't even gotten training camp. So obviously there's a lot of numbers, a lot of moving parts that are going to happen, and these players can move up and down accordingly. But just something to talk about before the draft starts.
Yeah, so like you said, the consensus is between all of us. It's not like the consensus between professional rankings and whatnot.
It's the official AVG consensus.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's hot.
So hot.
Yeah, so we're just going to go through them, and then obviously there's some guys that we didn't agree on or didn't have on each other's lists, so we have those in the honorable mentions. We'll briefly talk about those guys at the end of the podcast. But let's start off with our first guy.
Any guesses?
I mean, it's if you're on for audio listeners, you can guess, but for video listeners, it's right there.
Yes.
Yeah, close your eyes.
You got it.
Close your eyes.
This is actually the most unanimous one, or whatever. Like we all actually agreed on one number of or a ranking of a person. Michael Thomas was the only player that we actually all agreed that was the number one.
So he gets a consensus number 1 award, which is
nothing. Gold. He get gold.
I mean, he got 100 million, so he gets something.
Yeah, sure. I'll take that.
That's pretty hot for a receiver.
I'll take 1% of that. .01 for sure. What is that? 100K?
All right.
Damn, that's wild. .01.
That's 100K, right?
Yeah, I think so.
For sure. But yeah, Michael Thomas comes in at number 1. I mean, no one's surprised here. I mean, they call him Can't Guard Mike for a reason. I know they brought in Manny Sanders, but I mean, he's still going to be probably the most reliable guy. I mean, what is it? The catch percentage between him and Drew Brees is just it's like
70s.
it's like stupid. Yeah, it's
Still got to give away his jersey, by the way.
Yeah,
In the future, be ready.
Do you think? Okay, this is a question though. Do you guys think that Emmanuel Sanders taps into Michael Thomas's what's it called?
I don't.
Targets?
No, he just probably won't get 100 and whatever catches, but
Yeah.
He's-
I don't think that, but some people might try and make the argument, so I'm just
throwing it out there.
throwing it out there. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, he probably wasn't going to repeat 100 and what was it, 80 targets?
yeah. He broke the record for most receptions in a single season.
Yeah,
So
I mean that's going to come down a little bit regardless of Emmanuel Sanders. I mean Emmanuel Sanders will get some chunk of that pie, but I was looking at his numbers. I mean even at like 140, 150, he's still going to be a top 3 receiver. And the weekly consistency, just
His floor is.
Yeah, I honestly probably would take him 5 overall potentially.
yeah.
It's not like when we're talking the overall rankings. If I'm at 5, I might not fuck around, or 6, and he's there. I'm taking him for sure.
You just know what you're getting. He's probably the most safest, most consistent player. Each and every week you know what you're going to get from him.
And I feel he's standard and PPR. He's one of the only guys. He's up there regardless because he eats up yards too. So he's eating.
When you catch 150 balls, you're eating
Yeah, you're doing it.
Yeah, when you catch all those balls, you're so hungry.
It's
Yeah.
crazy to see with him though that all the targets tied to Drew Brees. He's never had a double-digit touchdown season yet.
Yeah.
I mean it's only been 3 years, so it's not like it's a long track record, but just kind of interesting. Then he gets the red zone targets. He gets a decent amount. Last year he was 2 for 8 inside the 10, and so I was maybe he's just not good in the red zone. But then the year before he was something like 5 for 7. So it's not that. It's just he just hasn't managed to put the double-digit touchdowns together. So, but I think it's been 9, 8, and 7. So there's still good touchdown levels.
Yeah. For sure. We can jump into number 2 right here. You got Davante Adams from the Green Bay Packers. He was right there. I think we all had him 2, 3, give or take. I don't think he fell out of past 4 for any of us.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I mean, we just talking about Davante Adams, just another guy right here, super consistent with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, each and every year, it's he gets those double 12 plus touchdowns. It seems like the target. He's a target monster. I mean, obviously they're probably going to draft somebody, possibly in the first round or 2 in the draft. But even then, I mean, this is Aaron Rodgers' go-to guy. You're looking at 130, 140 plus targets easily right here. Just another guy. I feel like he's just super consistent, super safe. And he's tied to a good offense with a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yeah.
One of my favorite players. I love Davante Adams.
Yeah, he's fun to watch if his toe doesn't hurt, for sure.
I know about
Got a
that.
toe.
No, I mean he's been efficient. I mean last year was his first year where he finally missed games like that. And what's crazy is he only played 12 games. He still had 127 targets.
Almost at 1,000 yards too.
Yeah,
right?
so he still averaged 10 targets a game. I mean, so you're good either way. That's almost a season's worth of targets regardless. So that shows you that him and Aaron Rodgers just got that chemistry. So if he's healthy, which he should be, Aaron Rodgers, I mean, like I said, they were the worst 13-3 team ever, so they should come back strong. And he had 3 straight 10 touchdown seasons before this past one, so I think he's going to go back to that.
Yeah.
He should hopefully he could stay healthy because he's one of my favorite guys because he hits you at the line. His route running is nasty. His hands are gross. He's just all around. He's solid. So
Didn't he make what's his name cry? Wasn't there a video Deion Sanders watching him run around?
Oh, Chad Ocho, yeah.
Chad Ochocinco.
Actually, I was watching
he's
something.
a technician, dude. He's a technician.
He was on Instagram, but they're just saying how he's got the smoothest release game, and I was just watching some highlights on Instagram. But yeah, his ability just it doesn't even look like he's doing anything crazy, but his ability just to
create separation.
I don't even know, create separation right off the line of scrimmage is just crazy. And then I mean Aaron Rodgers slinging you the ball, that only makes things 10 times better. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's 3 guys who are probably going to guaranteed 150 targets, and there's 3 alone probably. You could the other ones might get there, and it's the first 3, so he's one of them.
Yeah.
Take him to. I have him 3, but if you take him 2, I'm not going to argue with that. Yeah, it was like Dre said. What he was 12 games. He still had 120 targets.
Yeah. Stupid.
It's just so silly.
And I'm sure he's hoping for he should actually want a number 2, someone who can just stretch it. He needs somebody out there just just to create some space for himself.
Give him a break.
Yeah, dude, for real. He don't
Might
give a
only
damn.
just help him out too. I will say what I think his touchdown ceiling is gonna. It's not as high as it used to be. You know, given that the passing, the Green Bay offense is more balanced in general. So, you know, I think the days of like the 15, 14, 16 when you saw it when he did it and Jordy Nelson would do it, I don't think that's, I mean, it's in the range of outcomes, but I think it's more of in the 8 to 12 range where, you know, Rodgers isn't throwing for 35, you know, touchdowns anymore. It's going to probably be more in the mid 20s, high 20s at best.
Would be dope to see, though.
Yeah. I mean, one reason why I kind of just touched on the running backs, though, one reason why I was kind of down on Aaron Jones was because I feel like Davante Adams was kind of like a touchdown machine. And 19 touchdowns for Aaron Jones last year. I think some of those fall back to Davante Adams, and he does get the double digit. Maybe not like 15 plus or something like that, but I mean, I think he gets at least 10 to 12 probably in that range of area. I mean, if Rodgers throws for 25 touchdowns, which isn't even that much, you got to think at least 10 of them, 8 to 10 minimum, probably go to him. But we're just beating a dead horse now. Good player, Davante Adams. We're jumping to number 3 right here. I think I'm the only one who didn't have Julio at 3. I actually had Tyreek at 3. But interchangeable for all of us right here.
5. Who had him so high? You?
I had him at 2.
Oh, there you go. You've always liked Julio, though. You've always been.
I think
Julio.
I had him.
He's a man, though.
I'll just take the
I had him at
consistency
3.
year in, year out. I'm not playing games. I ain't fucking with that.
No, for sure.
We got Julio Jones coming in at the
like
3rd
fucking
overall for our consensus here. Like Anthony just said, the last 5 years, wide receiver 3, wide receiver 5, wide receiver 4, wide receiver 6, wide receiver 2. 1,390 plus yards, 6 straight years. I mean, just consistency. You know, and you said 150 plus targets is probably in the books with that offense. You know, with the Falcons, you just know what you're going to get with Julio Jones.
He's Mr. Consistent. Yeah. The only time I was really disappointed in Julio was that one this 1 year when he had turf toe also.
Yeah,
fucking
2013. Time's flying.
2013, no.
Yeah, I'm looking, dude. Since 2013, he's played 15, 16, 14, 16, 16, 15.
Staying on the field. You like seeing that?
He hasn't been outside the top 7 in PPR in the last 6 years.
I could have sworn in 2016 or 2017. I don't know.
I know, no, time's flying, bro.
Maybe I was thinking it was early or later than it
How
was.
many TDs did he have last year?
Last year he had 6.
It was 6.
6 he finished with. He had 99 for 1,400 and 6.
Never been a big touchdown guy.
Yes.
I feel like he gets you around 6 to 8.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan does not like
There's
to
a lot
throw
of
him
there's a lot of
touchdowns.
touchdowns that are. Well, I mean, the offense is going to stay relatively pass heavy with Hooper
Disappearing.
what was the word I was looking for? Departing. I put the 2 words together.
which is fine.
Departing. There's definitely some more red zone targets for to go around to Julio. Hayden Hurst might see some of them. A few. He's still got Ridley there, but they did also lose Sanu at some point through the last year. So it could be 8, 9 touchdowns, and if you get the yards, the targets. Enough said.
Yeah.
He's a safe 85, 1,100. I feel like that could be a good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
1,390 plus receiving yards, 6 straight years. So
I don't think he's had below 13.
Yeah.
I was going to say 1,400.
And this is just
Yeah.
us adding in that he's everyone's like, oh, he's getting older. He's 31, but dude's still a freak. He's probably faster than 85% of the receivers still, and
yeah.
I'll believe it when I see it. Dude's a freak.
Stud, yeah. So we'll jump into number 4 here. Tyreek Hill. I had Tyreek at 3. Where'd you guys have Tyreek at? All top 5, right?
I had him
I
at
think
4.
4.
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
So
Freak out.
The only reason why I put Tyreek Hill above Julio Jones is just because I just kind of touched on the numbers. Like, he's finishing wide receiver 3, 5, 4, 6. He's like in that 4, 5 range area, and the consistency with Julio Jones is there. But I just think another year with Mahomes in this Kansas City Chiefs offense, Tyreek Hill, he's just a home run guy. He's a guy who can win you your week any given week. He can put up a 30 burger, 40 burger. And I just think, we could see Mahomes throw for, what, did he already throw for 5,000 yards? Or
yeah, just his first year in the league, not even tripping.
So I think, we could see another
year.
5,000 yards here. And if, he's, where the passes are funneling through him and Kelsey mainly, I think Tyreek Hill could have a monster year, double-digit touchdowns, 1,500 plus yards. So that's just kind of why I had Tyreek Hill one notch above Julio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I feel like most of mine are like literally aligned in with our consensus, but I think he was injured for a decent amount of games, so obviously if he has a full healthy season, you could see an uptick this year for sure. But
me personally, I mean, him and Julio are pretty close. The only reason I would say maybe Tyreek a little higher, but I mean, it's Julio's a freak. He can go and get it. Tyreek Hill, punt returning, he can get you those, randomly.
Is he still a punt returner? I thought they switched to Hardman last year.
I don't know. I mean, I saw him return a couple. Either way, he's one of the only receivers that can do that. If they need him, he's one of those just gadgety kind of. You don't use Michael Thomas like that. You don't use Davante Adams, Julio Jones, like any of the top. He's the only guy that you can use on end arounds and bubbles and kind of just because he's almost quicker than he is fast, which is crazy to think because he's so damn fast, but.
He's pretty fucking fast.
Yeah, he's special, so that's why he's a lot. And you have Andy Reid who just draws up these crazy plays, so he's just more unique of an athlete to kind of use.
Do you think?
Sorry, Mike, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I don't know if I think he's become too valuable. Like, I don't think we're gonna see him as much in special teams, as much as we have. I think like you look at like Antonio Brown used to be a huge special teams guy when he first came to Pittsburgh, but like once they realized what the talent was, they kind of moved back to just having him as like just a receiver.
Yeah, it's a good way to get on the field when you're like up and coming for sure.
Right, like so that's why I was like, I don't know, if I was a coach, I'd be like a little bit nervous to have my my number one receiver just out on special teams plays.
Yeah.
Do you remember that play where like Damian? It's like towards the end of the year. It might have been the playoffs where like Damian Williams like broke for like a touchdown. You just see some guy flying across the screen. It's Tyreek Hill.
Dude, yeah.
Just catching up to tell him.
Just catching up to their running back who's like, I think Damian Williams is
and then
like
he
sub
blocked.
4.5.
Oh, yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, he just like he's like behind him like, what the fuck?
I mean, they call him a cheetah for a reason, man. That dude is ridiculous.
Yeah, I just like him personally. The dude's a boss. He can just go up and get except against the 49ers in the Super Bowl. Any other time he was amazing.
He's like exciting too, where it's like there's. I mean, we play fantasy football. It's a game. Like end of the day, we're all fucking guessing, and it's just like we don't know what the fuck's going on. To be honest,
We're
taking educated guesses.
Yeah, thank you.
But he's consistently.
But it's like when you have him, it's like you get like these 50-yard touchdowns. It's like
it is.
Like it's like you get like those exciting plays where you're like all of a sudden you're like, oh dude, I've got 60 points all of a sudden. Oh, Tyreek Hill just caught a 70-yard bomb.
Yeah,
it is fun to watch him. I'd rather have a player on my team that's fun to watch. But yeah,
100%. For sure. We jump into number 5 right here. We got DeAndre Hopkins. I think we were all kind of all over the place when it came to DeAndre Hopkins. I had him at 6. Dre, you had him at 2.
2.
Mike, I think you had him right around there, like 5, 4.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I had him at. Actually, I think I might have had him. Yeah, no, I had him right where we're at 5.
Yeah,
I have him at 6.5.
6.5.
I was gonna move him down to 7, but we already did the rankings.
7,
so
okay.
You had him at 6.45.
So we all have him kind of like all over the place. So maybe we could all just kind of touch on why we have him ranked in different spots. I mean, Dre, you had him at 2. So why do you have him at 2 compared like over of like Davante Adams, Julio, Tyreek Hill?
Brock Osweiler. I know you saw that video today. I mean, he's just had such bad QBs. He's had Tom Savage. He's had Brock Osweiler, and his last 3 years 2-1-5. 2016 when he had Tom Savage, he finished 26. The year before that, he had 4. So he's so consistent. Now he's going to a pass-friendly offense to where they're known for just spreading it out. With a QB that's an athlete who can air it like that, I think this guy's a limit for him still. And I feel like he has something to prove. So
we got a chip on his shoulder,
and he doesn't drop anything. I mean,
he doesn't.
I'm trying to think of reasons not to like him, but it's like I don't see. And the thing is, there's mouths to feed there, but they run 4 wide, and he's the number 1 in the pecking order. So the only thing I could say maybe hurting him is going to a new team. So maybe the first couple weeks, but even then, with this whole thing going on, I just like he's a boss.
Yeah,
he's a boss.
What do you think, Tyler?
I don't know. He's going to be one of those guys. Like, I think DeAndre Hopkins is a stud. I mean, he could easily be the best wide receiver in the entire NFL. But I don't think I'm going to have him on any of my teams just because I would rather have, like, those 4 guys. I'd rather have Michael Thomas, Davante Adams, Julio Jones, Tyreek Hill. I probably would take – it's early, but I probably would take all those guys in the first round. I don't know if I would take DeAndre Hopkins in the first round. He'd probably be like a turn guy for me. Maybe that start of the second round, but he's not going to fall there. Someone's going to grab him. Someone's going to jump on him. So I would rather take one of those other receivers in the first round. And it's not even that I'm just knocking him. It's just I just don't think I'm going to have him. And there's just a lot of mouths to feed over there. You got Drake, Larry Fitz, Christian Kirk, and Kyler Murray. So, yeah. What about you, Anthony?
I
know you've kind of dug into the numbers. You're like all over the place, I think.
I'm not gonna knock him. I'm just gonna knock the target share. So 150 targets last year, 163, 174, 151. I think 150 is his ceiling. Yeah. That is like if everything breaks right. The Cardinals aren't going to abandon the run. They have Kenyon Drake. So here's the thing: is if you think the Cardinals are going to be like a top 5 passing team, you have to dislike Drake, because what does that mean? That they're not going to be running the ball like to somewhat balanced extent. They were like a middle of the pack when it comes to pass to run ratio. So, if you think they're just going to slang it nonstop and it's going to be passing, DeAndre Hopkins 150 targets, Fitzgerald and Kirk getting, somewhere between 80 and 120 each, maybe they're like there, then you have to dislike Drake because that means they're going to be throwing nonstop. Kyler Murray still had a decent rookie year. He threw for 3,700 yards, 20-something touchdowns. So I'm having a hard time seeing him get 150 targets. And I think he's going to be more realistically in the 115 to 130 range. And then if the way that, they're running that 4 wide, 3 wide, you involve Drake too, I think you might see some inconsistency on a week-to-week basis. Not because of the talent with him, but just due to the way the target share from what we're used to is not going to be the same. Yeah. So I'm kind of sliding him. He might even get closer to 8, to be honest. Dang. I'm just having a tough time with that targets. I know it's hard because you think DeAndre Hopkins and he's a stud and he's a savage. He's a stud and a savage when he gets 150, 60 targets. Yeah. Now, if he's getting 120, if he gets 120 this year, he's probably not going to finish in the top 8. Because there's going to be plenty of guys who have, 140 targets, that end up the year at 140 targets. Not that we're predicting that, but there's going to be guys that are up there. So for me, he's kind of polarizing. I'll probably, like with you, I don't think I'll have him on a team, unfortunately, unless he falls to the right place, but he's not going to.
Yeah. Like you said, it's just kind of beating a dead horse. But, when in Houston, that offense ran through DeAndre Hopkins. You had Will Fuller there, but he could never stay healthy. And I feel like DeAndre Hopkins was a lock for double-digit targets every single game. He averaged like a double-digit, 10-plus targets every single game. How often is he going to see 10-plus targets week to week consistently in Arizona, with those other weapons? And, I don't think Kyler Murray is going to be force-feeding him the ball the way Deshaun Watson was, or even like Savage or Brock Osweiler. I think Kyler Murray's, he understands football, and he's not going to just force the ball in there if he's got Larry Fitz wide open on a slant or something like that, or if he can take off and get 10, 15 yards on the ground because he can run the ball. So, yeah. But like I said, we're not knocking the talent. He's a stud, but maybe the target share is what we don't like.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm right there with you guys. I feel like it's going to be exciting, like you guys said, but what's it called? Like, it's kind of interesting that Hopkins doesn't drop anything and Fitzgerald doesn't drop anything. Yeah. So the offense is going to be fun. As a football fan, it's going to be fun to watch them.
Yeah, it's going to be good offense.
But like, I'm kind of in agreement. I don't want to repeat what you guys are saying, but I'm in agreement with you guys as well. I don't know with Tyler and Anthony more than Dre, but I don't know where. There's too many question marks for me with Hopkins going to a whole different team, whole different offense. How is he going to fit in there? Obviously, he's going to be the main guy. He's going to be the number one, but there's still just a lot of question marks.
For sure.
It's because they have dreads. That's why they don't.
Interesting stat. So Larry Fitz was their number one last year. He had 75 catches. So you figure he's got to be.
Yeah, but Larry Fitzgerald's still there.
He's still there
for sure. But you think all right?
Christian Kirk.
No, I'm saying I figure he's getting older. If you're gonna feed Larry Fitz, if he can get 75 catches, I figured D Hop will give me 90.
Ooh, that's a lot. You want to beer bet that? Early beer bet?
For sure. 90 catches?
I'll beer bet under 90 catches.
I'll beer bet under 90 too.
That's easy money, I think. 90 catches?
Ooh.
I think we'll get that.
Interesting, yeah.
Clip that shit.
Especially they're gonna be losing too.
The Cardinals?
The Cardinals are going to be...
Dude,
they play against the 49ers and the Seahawks. And the Rams.
Bro, I'm sorry, dude. The Rams are fucking falling apart.
I think the Rams are in trouble next year.
Yeah, the Rams are falling apart. They're going to be... I think they might be last place in that division. I think the Niners... I think the Niners could take it. The Seahawks are still... good. I think the Seahawks are good. But I just think that like people are underestimating the Cardinals. I could definitely see a scenario where the Cardinals take that division.
Ooh.
Hot take.
You can clip that shit, but yeah, no. That's like some steam. I was just about to ask, what do you guys think D Hop finished with, like catches, yards, TDs this year? I just like he is obviously not going to average. He's averaged 1,300 his last 6 years. He ain't doing that.
Yeah, I just think he can't. I don't think he's going to be able to sustain what he did in Houston in this offense with the amount of mouths to feed. And just a different type of offense. You know, there was no running back really over there in Houston. Drake obviously is a good talented running back. So
what do you think to 90 then 90?
What do you guys think of who I think about it too is like who do you think's a better quarterback, Deshaun Watson or Kyler Murray?
It's Deshaun.
I mean, just to play it out there is like
They're both talented.
Deshaun
they're both
Watson,
really good.
but you put Deshaun Watson in that scheme over there with D-Hop, that'd be stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
For sure. We'll jump into number 6 right here. So we got Chris Godwin from the Bucks at 6 for our consensus. For me personally, he was one of the toughest guys to really kind of like gauge. I know it's early,
Yeah.
but he was one of the tougher guys for me to kind of. I moved him up and down all over the place. Anthony, you just said you moved him down, right? Or moved him
No,
up?
I moved him
Oh,
up.
you
I
moved him up.
flopped him
Okay.
over DeAndre Hopkins.
Okay, so right before we started, you were talking about moving him up. So what is it about him that kind of like sparked you or your interest to move him up?
It's like a perfect storm.
Yeah.
It's like you take let's just use Chris Godwin, the player, talented. This is his 3rd year or 4th year.
This will be his fourth year.
You know, he's just progressed every year. I don't want to say elite level receiver, but he's getting pretty close to there. Now you look at let's just take Tom Brady's history with the slot receiver in general. You could take back to Wes Welker, Julian Edelman. I could argue that Chris Godwin's the most talented out of the 3 of those.
Yeah.
And so that we have that. Bruce Arians, that's like the first part of it, is the Chris Godwin, the talent and whatnot. You take Bruce Arians, what does he love to do? When we heard it all last year, he loves the slot guy. He loves the slot guy. That's why Chris Godwin was being nonstop hyped up by, some people. And we saw last year he loves the slot guy. Now you have Brady. You take Brady. What has he done from year in and year out? Just the slot guy. The slot guy. Julian Edelman had 150 targets last year. It was like the wide receiver 7 or 8 or something like that. So you just put all 3 of those together. The Brady factor, his just long history of 10, 15, 20, whatever, 40 years it feels like he's been playing quarterback. The history of just going to the slot. You take Bruce Arians' history. You take the talent, and it's like a trifecta. It's like I just can't ignore it's like a perfect storm brewed together. And I'm just like,
do you think he's one of the safer plays? I mean, you got some of these guys who could be boom or bust. It almost seems like you said, with Tom Brady playing in the slot in that system, it almost seems like he will have a safe floor consistently week in and week out.
Yeah, I think he's going to be really consistent. The only thing maybe I'll be right for once, but if Brady falls off a cliff due to age, that's the one thing where it's like, okay, but I mean, I didn't really see it too much last year from what I feel like the Bucks wouldn't have fucking went out and got one after him if they would have saw him like declining. So I mean, we saw Peyton Manning fall off a cliff like out of nowhere. So it's possible. For sure. But if Brady plays like normal Brady, then I think week to week he's going to be one of the safest you can get.
Yeah.
What do you think, Trey?
I mean, Chris Godwin's my guy. I had him at 6.
Yeah. I think you have him.
Yeah, no, that's where I have him at. I mean, I've been big on him. I've liked him for a while now. I tried to get him in one of my leagues in Dynasty last year, which is never happening ever. But no, he's one of those guys. He lined up. He's not 50-50, but he's close as far as lining up in the slot and the outside. So he can go and get it on the outside, and like how these 2 guys were talking about. How he can go and get the slot, which Brady loves. So his ability to line up on the outside and on the inside when they run. They're going to run their 3-4 wide sets. The fact that he can just win on any part of the field as far as inside, outside, run any route, that's just going to – I mean, I think he might be the only guy that can do that because you got Mike Evans who can't really do that. They got this guy, Scotty Miller, who's going to be like one of their like little Edelman guys, but he's small and where you have Godwin who can do both. So he's just so versatile so that he's just better fit for the offense. And Brady – and – I know this sounds dumb, but he gave Brady his number, so don't act like he's not going to feed him some extra balls.
Yeah, for sure, right? He's getting.
I know that sounds.
He's getting on his good
side.
side.
Bro, that sounds petty as fuck. But
No,
he's like,
dude.
bro, 1-2. Me and you, we're the 1-2.
Honestly,
I'm your 2. You're the 1-1-2. Here,
Dude,
let's run it.
there is a lot of politics with Brady, dude. Like that's how he literally says that all the time. He's like, dude, I'm gonna throw the ball to someone who like a receiver that I think is gonna help us win games. So like, I think that's why I had a really hard time. I put Chris Godwin and Mike Evans right next to each other just because I really don't know like who Tom Brady prefers or who he ends up clicking with. And I just think I don't know who that's going to be. If he's going to end up going back to his tight end days with Gronk, he's going to go hit O.J. Howard or Cameron Brate. So I had a really hard time trying to figure out where to put these guys.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I was the lowest on him out of anybody. I had him at 9.
Yeah.
Like I said, he was probably one of the trickiest guys to like kind of gauge. It's early, but it's just kind of thinking like, okay, last year Jameis Winston, gunslinger, he threw for 5,000 yards, 30 touchdowns. I'm not sure. I mean, is Brady going to throw for 5,030? I mean, I'm not sure. I do agree that, the system of, leaning on the slot guy, Godwin plays in the slot a lot and in that offense, the area in the offense. So I think that's a good thing right here. Also, just something I was looking at, he's on a contract year. So he's finishing his rookie deal. It was like a 4-year deal. He was only making I think he's going to make I say only, but like 3 or 4 million after this year combined for the whole 4 years he's been in the league. So he's due to get a huge payday. I mean, it wouldn't be unrealistic to see him make, $10 to $12 million a year. So, if he wants to get paid, he's going to have to go out there and he's going to have to perform. So, you'll hear me say that a lot with these next couple guys coming up. They're all on contract years. So, I mean, if you want to make that money, you got to put up or shut up. So, I think the potential for him to really go out there and perform is there for sure.
And I got a good little number I found. This is a one, since I didn't want to just throw it out there. Out of 938 snaps that Godwin lined up for pass plays or to line up, he lined up in the slot 587 times.
Yeah.
So he's 50, he's close. He's more there, so.
Yeah. Also, one thing I forgot to mention, but I was looking at the completion percentage for certain players on how often they're how many targets they get compared to how many receptions they get off those targets. He had the 3rd highest completion percentage when he was targeted. So, just a reliable guy, almost he was behind. I think it was Tyler Lockett and Michael Thomas. So pretty reliable when you're throwing the ball.
So technically 100%. One guy because everyone's behind Michael Thomas.
pretty much.
Monster. Just one more note on it. It's the reason I'm moving him higher is consistency. That's a word you just brought up, and it's as you start going down these receivers, there's a lot of potential consistency issues potentially, and it's just I guess like you said, I think he's a really safe bet, and to the point of 4,000 yards, and or he's not gonna. Jameis isn't there. Brady's not going to throw for 5,000 yards, we think, and 30 touchdowns. That's why I'm having a problem with this counterpart, Mike Evans, and he's the last one. We'll get to him later, but he's the one I'm having a hard time with.
Yeah,
with figuring out what to do with him.
Yeah, for sure. Godwin, he can get his 120 targets and be fine. He doesn't need 150. He can do his 110, 120 and get.
For sure, yeah. So we're jumping to the next guy right here. Got Cooper Kupp at number 7. I actually have Cooper Kupp ranked number 7 right here. I'm not sure where you guys have him.
I think I have him.
I have him at 8.
I had him at 6 or 7. I ended up moving down to 9.
Yeah. 8. I love Cooper Kupp. He's another guy in another contract year. So if he wants to get paid, he's going to have to go out there and put up or shut up, like I said. And just kind of Jared Goff's right-hand guy, kind of his, security blanket. Finishes the wide receiver 4 last year in half-point PPR. He had the 11th most targets, 7th most receptions. Kind of a nose for the end zone, I was thinking. In his rookie year, 5 touchdowns. That was a rookie year with Goff. 6 the next year, 10 last year. So kind of, when they get in the end, when they get in that red zone area, they do look for him. And you heard me say with Godwin, the completion percentage when he was targeted. Cooper Kupp had a 70% completion percentage. That was 4th best in the NFL. So when him and Goff are connecting, they're connecting at a high rate. I think the departure of Brandon Cooks, no Gurley. A couple targets should funnel his way as well. So I think he'll be another guy where he's a consistent, safe guy for you each and every week, where he's going to get the volume, and then he gets utilized in the red zone as well.
Couldn't agree more. As you say that, I was actually, you know what, Mike? You go, bro. Fuck that.
Why?
I don't know.
I have Cooper Kupp ranked pretty low actually, in comparison.
I'm a little
to you
worried.
guys.
Go ahead, Mike. After
I don't honestly. I don't know what's gonna happen with Cooper Kupp this year. He is super reliable, so I had to put him in my top 12 for sure. But I did obviously we saw the use of tight ends towards the end of the season, which we used to joke about that the Rams never use a tight end, but you saw Higbee being super used, and who else was it? Henderson or no?
Gerald Everett.
Gerald Everett. Excuse me. So yeah, so it's hard for me to say. I will say if you're in a full point PPR league, he does seem to be the Julian Edelman type of guy that's just going to catch small passes and just for whatever for a short amount of yardage, But yeah, so I had to put him in the top 12, but I wasn't sure exactly where to put him, so I have him at 10. Yeah. I don't know how you guys feel.
All right, Amen. Go ahead.
I'm losing. I'm trying to look up the stat. It's just hard on the phone. Well, let me.
One thing I was gonna say too is they got rid of Brandon Cooks. Obviously, he was due $12 million, I think, or something like that. Cooper Kupp, he's only making $1 million this year. I say only $1 million again. I think it's nothing, but they're obviously going to sign him to a long-term contract extension. That's Jared Goff's boy. They came in the league at the same time. If you paid attention, when we first started the podcast, they were actually roommates during the whole training camp and like spring training or whatever you call it process. So, they're like best friends. So you sign Goff to this mega contract extension. He's making like $100+ million. It's only right that they're going to sign Cooper Kupp to an extension as well. So depending on how well he plays is depending on how much he could be another guy where he's making, 10, 12 million a year next year. So, and if he can get you 85 to 90 receptions and 7-8 touchdowns, I think that's would be a solid guy right there for you.
So like Brandon Cooks is leaving, but does that mean that those he had 42 receptions last year, but to me it's like I don't think that I think those Brandon Cooks targets are different than the Cooper Kupp targets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like Brandon Cooks is a different type of receiver. So like I don't know if those targets are going to go straight to Cooper Kupp or are they going to go to is Josh Reynolds going to be used more? Is that more of a boost for Josh Reynolds or you know what I mean? I think I do agree though. Cooper Kupp he does seem to have like a huge rapport with Jared Goff. But what do you guys think, Anthony?
Yeah, I'm kind of like on your side a little bit more. I do have some concerns with Cooper Kupp. Like you said, the offense it shifted. Like we were joking about tight ends, but it became not a joke anymore. Receiver 5. This was what I was trying to pull up in the first 9 weeks in 5-point PPR ever. Wide receiver 5. The last 9 weeks, wide receiver 31.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a huge difference. So once we get closer to season, if there's some numbers I look through and I'm not liking what I see in the Rams, and a little bit worried about Cooper Kupp, to be honest.
What do you think, Dre?
I have him at 8, so I actually had him higher, and then I moved him down one. So I looked up. There's 121 targets are gone with Gurley and Cooks. Not catches, just targets. So him and Robert Woods are the alpha. Like I said, you can do the own math. You figure they're going to get 30 of those each. You can however you want to do it. But I feel they're going to be more of a pass oriented team, and I think they're not going to be as good as far as like regular record. I don't think, but I think they're going to put up more points because they lost a lot of guys on defense. So I think they're going to be airing it out more. They don't have Gurley. They don't have like that guy they're like feel forced to give the ball to like out of the backfield. And McVay is a creative dude, so I think he's going to find ways to scheme these guys open. He still has Robert Woods, who's super gadget type guy. He gets like he was getting like what he led the NFL like rushing yards for receivers. He would always be getting those end around yards.
Yeah.
He actually had more targets than Cooper Kupp last year.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, so a lot of people he's like a sneaky 1A, but Cooper Kupp and Goff have that chemistry.
That's what I was going to ask too. Like, are you done? Sorry, I mean,
no, I'm almost. He had 100 and some. What do you have? 130 targets last year.
135.
So, with 120 up for grabs, of course, the emergence of Tyler Higbee is going to help. You have Gerald Everett if they want to use the double tight. You have Josh Reynolds who has been there for 4 years. They drafted him out of A&M. So, but he's still the best guy. So you're still going to find ways to get your best guys the ball, and I just think he's their best guy as long as he stays healthy, which is everybody else. So I think
See, here's where I because I have always heard the targets up for grabs. Like this is just me starting to do fantasy football back in the day. It's like 120 up for grabs. So it's like, yeah, it was 120, but last year, let's just look at the Rams, for example. There were 60 targets to the running back. The running back position in general is still going to get targets, whether it's 60, whether it's 80, 90. That's up to next year. So it's like you got to look at like the passing game pie and figure that there's 120 technically up for grabs, but that running back position is going to pull away at least half that 120. Now it's like, he did have 134 targets last year, which was pretty solid. You take those other 60, they're still going to have a wide receiver on 3 on the team taking up targets. So it's how much work is actually up for grabs from last year. To me, I don't think it's that much. But the other question I was going to ask is, do you think Robert Woods is the guy to target? Because it's like we talk about these situations with Cooper and Gallup, and sometimes the Diggs and Thielen, where it's like there might not be much of a difference in production, but I think
you're getting a guy.
You get Woods and like
later.
What do you think? Maybe the 5th right now. I feel like he's.
I have Woods in my top 20, so I think one of these guys finishes in the top 20 at least.
So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Is it more of like the same situation like we were discussing last night? Is Woods the guy that's going to end up? I'm going to have him most of my teams because I'm not going to potentially reach and just sit on Woods if I'm getting him in the 5th or 6th. Yeah. Who could actually have the better year just based off of close targets and, if he happens to fall in the end zone by chance more. So that was just my question with that part.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. Yeah, there's a lot of these receivers, like say 1A, 1B, and I'll just wait a couple rounds
For the
and
1B.
grab the 1B.
Yeah.
Just depends what you like.
Yeah.
It's like an Odell Landry situation too. It's like, like we were saying, I'd rather take Landry later.
For sure, yeah. I mean, I know the targets, like you said, 134. It was 11th most in the league. So you got to think that that's kind of his baseline.
Yeah, that's what
I mean, I
exactly.
don't think it goes any lower. Does he get more? Maybe he gets more, but I think it stays around there, 135, 140, 145-ish, So I think as long as he gets those targets, and the touchdowns, even if he gets like 7, 8 touchdowns, he finished wide receiver 4 last year. He should get you top 12 numbers, at least a back end wide receiver 1. If anything, if you draft him and he's your second wide receiver, I think you're going to be stoked to just have him as like your second wide receiver. So, but we can jump to the next guy here. We got Adam Thielen at 8. I actually was the highest on Thielen. I got him at 5. I don't think Mike. You don't think you even had him ranked.
No. Sorry.
No, I did not.
You're hating on him.
No. Yeah, I just. I mean, if he wasn't white, I would be all about it.
Says the whitest guy on the podcast.
Bro, what are you talking about?
He's got a better Fu Manchu than you. Or you don't have that anymore.
Yeah, I don't have the Fu Manchu. I got a fucking man stash, dude.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty high on Thielen.
You got him
like
at
I said,
5.
I have him at 5. I have him over I have him over Godwin. I have him over DeAndre Hopkins. I have him over Cooper Kupp.
Over Hopkins?
Fuck, T?
Yeah, it's just, I mean,
I got him over those guys too.
there's just kind of like something. Yeah, I think Anthony, you had him at 6. I think, right?
I had 7, but
6, 7. So yeah.
I'm probably looking at it again would have Hopkins.
Just some
as well.
things with Thielen was, I mean, people forget that first year with Kirk Cousins coming into Minnesota, he had the NFL record 8 straight games of 100 or more receiving yards. 8 straight games, 100 or more receiving yards for Adam Thielen. I know they try to kind of change offensive coordinators and whatnot, but I mean, no more Diggs there. It's kind of like if this passing game is going to move through the air, it's going to move through Thielen. I mean, they're probably going to draft a rookie wide receiver. They have 2 picks in the top 25 overall picks in the draft. So I'm assuming they draft a rookie wide receiver with that first round pick that they got for shipping off Diggs. But I mean, Kyle Rudolph is kind of just more of like a red zone guy. Maybe we see a little bit more from Irv Smith Jr., the rookie last year in his second year. I mean, obviously Dalvin Cook, he's a 3-down back. He can catch the ball out of the backfield and get you done. But I mean, in 2 years, you had Thielen prior to last year where he got hurt. He was the wide receiver 7 in 2018, 155 targets, and then wide receiver 10 in 2017, 143 targets. I mean, if he's going to get me 140, 150 targets, I can't imagine him not being a top 10 wide receiver.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, even if you, I pretty much agree with everything Tyler said. I mean, I have him at 7 or 6. I'd probably move. I mean, I might move him ahead of Hopkins too.
He's one of my favorite guys. I
think he's almost a lock for like what you're saying, those years of 130, 150 targets. And like just to touch on Hopkins again, I think that's his ceiling, but I think Thielen's more of a safer bet to get there. I mean, even if they do draft a receiver in the first round, they're still rookies. They still have to come in, and there's a learning curve. This guy isn't going to come in and be as talented as STEFON Diggs right off the bat. Yeah. It's going to be Thielen is the 1A, and he's going to be the 2. No matter what rookie they draft. I mean, I guess you get the Odell types or Julios who come in and like crazy, but 95% chance he's not going to make the same impact that Diggs was. So I think he's going to demand a pretty high target share. Like you said, if the offense is going to move on the air, it's going to move through Thielen.
Yeah.
And if that rookie struggles, it's only going to become more reliant on Thielen.
I mean, he put up 155 and 143 targets, and that was with Diggs on the team. And Diggs was still commanding, I think, 130, 140 targets or whatever. He was getting his. He was getting his as well. So. I mean, I think that's like his floor is like 150 targets, and he's a pretty reliable guy right there. I mean, he's one of the smoothest route runners. Just a good story too, undrafted guy, and he becomes like one of these like superstars in the NFL.
What do you think, Dre?
I like him. I disagree with what you guys are saying, but I like him. I could probably move. I have him at 11. I could probably move him up to 9 and switch him with Amari, which is what I have. See, everything you're saying, I agree with, but you also have to think defenses are going to just, if they don't have a competent number 2, which is what Diggs was, or 1A, 1B, what makes you think defenses aren't just going to scheme for this guy if he's the only receiver they have? So I'm on the other end, and I'm a big Irv Smith. I think they're going to try and do the double tight.
Dude,
use Dalvin. I think they're going to use Dalvin in the pass game. Like they're gonna try to open up because they have athletes. They have more than just Thielen. So I think they're going to try to use everybody. And I think I think that he's going to have to earn his money this year. I think he's still going to get the targets, but I think he's going to be getting doubles and he's going to be getting schemed on to where they're going to be like, Kirk Cousins is trash. Let's see who else he can throw the ball to. And that's where I think he's going to have those games where he's going to have not that good of production when he meets those good DBs where you can have someone shadow. And then, because Diggs was a luxury to have. Like, it sucked because he was taking, like, what is it, food from his plate, as you want to say, but dude was also helping him out because he was burning the top off of defenses to let Thielen run around. So that's why I have him a little lower, but he's still a beast. I like him, but yeah, I just think now that Diggs is gone, it's going to hurt him. It's going to help too to get the targets, but it's going to hurt too having defenses scheme against you.
That's literally when I was talking to Tyler before we recorded. I was talking about like I do think they're gonna do that Irv Smith Jr. that double tight end thing like he just 100%. Said. So yeah, I mean I'm kind of right there with what Dre's saying. Like I was looking at stats from last year. Like I know he didn't play in a decent amount of games towards the end of the year, but Adam Thielen didn't have like a game with more than 8 targets last year. I know, like, the previous year he did have a lot, but this past year it didn't show. It could be because, they were distributing it with STEFON Diggs, and maybe those targets come back. But I'm just going off of last year's targets. 8 is not enough for me in the most. I like that double digit in one game, at least with targets.
Another thing that I liked, because like I said, I do like Irv Smith. His last 6 of his last 7 games, his snap percentage was 81, 85, 70, 75, 65, 61. So he was, to start the season, he was 49, 42, 47. So as you saw throughout the year, they were progressive. His stats might not have been there, but they were putting him on the field more to give him those chances to kind of see the field. So, and they signed Rudolph to that deal. So I just think it's going to help their whole team. He'll get the tugs, but yeah, like I said, just there's going to be other guys emerging this year. It's not just going to be just Thielen by himself.
It's just science, dude.
And he's white.
And anything you got else you guys want to put in there?
If his name was Adam Thielen, then you'd be 2.
Is there anything else you guys want to put on?
No, I'm good. We can jump into the next guy. We got number 9 overall. We got Kenny Golladay.
Oh yeah,
for the Detroit Lions. So this was another guy right here where I had him initially I had him in my top 10, and then I was doing something and I moved him out of my top 12, and then me and Anthony were having a conversation, and then I moved him back in my top 10, but I had him at 11, and then when we were doing the list, I was just looking at some highlights and doing some numbers, and then I moved him finally up to number 8 for me personally. I think Kenny Golladay is in store for a monster year. Another guy who's on a contract year where, again, like I said, he's not making that much. He's only making $1 million a year, and he's another guy where he could be making $10+ million if he goes out there and he can perform. He could be making $15+ million if he goes out there and he performs. So he's got a lot to prove if he wants to get that paycheck, and secure the bag, as they say. I know you're really big on Golladay, Anthony, if you want to touch on.
Yeah. Sorry, I was playing my mustache. Yeah, I just, Stafford low-key was on pace for before Stafford got hurt. I mean, Kenny Golladay finished as a wide receiver 6.5 point PPR, and this was with, who was his quarterback?
He had O'Driscoll and David Blah.
And David Blah. I mean, he finished as a wide receiver 6.5 point PPR with Blah and Driscoll. And Stafford low-key was, one thing I noticed, I didn't own Kenny Golladay, but he was pretty consistent with Stafford when he had him there.
Yeah.
Big playability. I mean, it's like red zone upside, the big plays. I honestly, I'm predicting a full breakout with him. I feel like he kind of broke out last year, but I'm just saying, I think a full breakout's on the horizon with him this year. I think more of the same with Detroit. I mean, as long as they keep Stafford there, I think he's still there. I mean, there has been some rumors of them drafting a quarterback and whatnot, but that would change the whole situation. But I just like the touchdown upside, the big playability. I just think he's one of the future elite receivers. And
he's about to get paid. That's all I say. He's about to get paid.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mike.
What?
I don't think you had Golladay ranked, did you?
I did not. No.
Oh. I fuck with Kenny Golladay. I have him at 10.
You have him at 10, yeah.
10. Yes, I was looking up his numbers with Blah. He had 4 touchdowns. He led the NFL in touchdowns. He had 11. And that's having this third string no name who's probably never going to play again. No disrespect, but he had 4 touchdowns with him. He had 7 with Stafford. And even when Stafford was healthy, he was still kind of hurt. So he wasn't really fully healthy. So I think you get him this whole year. Hopefully they can get somebody on the O-line. And I mean, his progression since he's like come up in the league has been pretty good as far as like year over year, his catches, his targets. So yeah, I mean, he's trying to get paid. So I can see another double-digit touchdown game. And people see him as a big guy, but his yards per catch, like as you can see, he's like sneaky fast for his size. He can get open. So
yeah, he's 6'4" and runs a 4.5 40.
So he's like a little baby Megatron.
They call him Babytron.
So we'll do it.
Yeah, listening to you guys right now makes me.
He's one of my favorite players,
back
kind
on
of
there.
going forward. Just because I mean, like I said, the upside. I think he probably has one of the highest touchdown upsides of anyone on this entire list. You got some guys like Julio Jones, Michael Thomas. Those guys are like studs, but they're not a lock for 10+ touchdowns. I think Anthony, you said like they haven't even gotten 10+ touchdowns. But Kenny Golladay, I would bet my dick that he gets 10+ touchdowns.
Yeah, and his yards per catch for his career is like 16. It's like 16 and a half, which is pretty wild if you think about it. Those are high numbers up there. Given that the number one in the NFL last year was like in the 18s, so for 3 year span, an average 16 and a half is pretty good.
Yeah, I think Deshaun Jackson used to average like 17.
Yeah.
So you think of just the big plays you would get with Deshaun Jackson.
And you can get the red zone, and yeah, he's young.
Yeah, now listening to you guys talk, making me want to.
Hey, that's
throw him in
dude.
my
That's
top
what we're
12.
here for, dude. That's why we do this, bro. We're trying, people helping people. That's what we're here for, dude.
You should give him a call, bro.
People who need help.
That's what we're here for, dude. There might be other people out there being like, I don't like Kenny Golladay, and then the listeners are like, you know what? I'm drafting Kenny Golladay.
Yeah,
And then
you're
thank us.
kind of switching me up here.
Thank us.
Yeah. But yeah,
Hey,
do you guys want to move
you
on?
got 5
to-
months to make a decision on him.
I know. Yeah, we got a lot of time. We got a lot of time. We just like this, so that's why we talk about them.
All right, what we got?
We got next.
list.
We got T.Y. Hilton.
4-5.
Coming in at number 10 for us on the consensus, T.Y. Hilton. I think I have him at 10.
Yeah. I can
Mike,
tell
you
in
had
a
him at
second.
6, I believe it was.
Yeah, I had him
Anthony,
pretty
you didn't
high.
have him in there. You had him in the honorable mention list.
He was in.
And then Dre, I think you even had him. You had him in your honorable mentions or
I wouldn't actually. I put him at like 20.
20.
Yeah, so I don't have him up here, but do your thing.
It comes down to
I like
health. I'll just be quick on my point of it. I don't think it's the talent. I think he fits well with Rivers. It's just the health. I mean, like it's been all not good signs.
Yeah.
Like if we had to put a rating for like injury lists, like with wide receivers, like he'd be like red or fucking F or whatever you want to use for the rating. It's just like when he can get on the field, like yeah, he's good. Like I said, I think he's gonna. If he plays 16, I'm gonna be way too low on him. I can tell you that right now. If he plays 16 games, I'm gonna play way too low on him. I just think he's one of the few receivers I'm not projecting to play 16 games. So that's basically just my. And you guys, you'll probably. I know. As far as like everything, you'll say what I want to say, but like to me, it's just health. So
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's just, Phillip Rivers coming over from the Chargers. And we kind of, saw Rivers, how he would lean on Keenan Allen, and make Keenan Allen, a stud in fantasy football. Keenan Allen lining up predominantly in the slot. T.Y. is one of those guys where he lines up all over the field. So he'll line up in the slot, he'll line up outside and whatnot like that. But, I mean, in that last 3 years, Keenan Allen averaged 148 targets. So if you're telling me that T.Y. is going to see 140, 130, 140 targets, I think, and kind of like I said with Thielen, he's predominantly where this offense is going to move through the air. No more Ebron. They signed Funches last year to a 1-year deal. That didn't work out. He got injured. He's gone. I mean, they have Paris Campbell. We'll see if he can emerge in his second year. But it's kind of like, who do they have outside of, Jack Doyle? I mean, who's...
Bro, Mo Alley
Totally.
Cox,
I mean,
bro.
if Rivers throws the ball 450 times, 500 times, who's going to see targets? Who's going to get even close to the amount of targets that T.Y. is going to get? And like he said, if he stays healthy and he stays on the field, we could see him push for 150, 160 targets maybe. And, he's a big play, home run kind of guy right there. Not much of a touchdown guy, but that's not you're not drafting him for that. You're drafting him for the yardage and stuff like that.
see, I knew you wouldn't let me down.
Yeah.
And one more thing, just to kind of talking to your side of it, is he's never been a big touchdown guy, but he was used in the red zone last year in that system. I think he was 8 targets for 6. Most of his touchdowns came directly in the 10 zone.
Yeah.
So he was used in that system directly. There was a year correlated with that. That's all. That's all, Phillips.
Word.
Another contract year. He's in a contract year as well. In
A lot of
you heard me
contracts
say
this
so. Yeah. So I mean, these receivers, they're trying to get paid. I mean, if I'm a receiver and I've just seen, Michael Thomas get $20 million a year, and I've seen Amari Cooper get $20 million a year, even if I'm not that like level of them, I mean, I'm knowing that like I can still make 15 million, 16, 17, 18 million a year, which is still some bread. So, these receivers, this is his last opportunity to really go out and get like a big payday. So we'll see if he puts up. Like I said, that offense, that Frank Wright offense is, pretty good offense.
Yeah, I don't know. I have him ranked really high. I know you guys said you kind of said the major points I wanted to touch on was like A.J. Brown leaving, things like that. But it seems like T.Y. Hilton's like kind of their guy. He's like that. He's kind of like their only offensive piece that they've had for a long time. So like it was Andrew Luck that was like their guy. Marlon Mack kind of came in and showed up last year, but I don't know. I think just basically what you guys said is if he stays healthy, it's going to be hot.
Yeah,
it's going to be hot.
So what is it that you don't like about him, Dre? That you have him? You said you have him like in the lower like 20 range.
I mean, last year was more the offense. I liked him more with Andrew Luck. I like the chemistry. I have the numbers here. I mean, you guys already said it with the whole, like I say, best ability, availability. So even when he does play, his snap percentage last year was 68%. So just for me, my top 20 guys, I just want him to be on the field more. And that's 68%. That's not given if they're winning the game. Why are they going to pass the rock? So just the way they're built, they're not a scoring team. They're more like a defense ball control kind of team. So that bothers me. I actually just read something cool saying that there just came out today that the Vikings and Colts are actually looking to trade for T.Y. Hilton to get rid of Kyle Rudolph. Send T.Y. Hilton to the Vikings, but that's for another day. That'd be dope. Then that would make my value go up a lot more on T.Y. Hilton if that were to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like T.Y. Just like he's a smaller receiver. He weighs like $185. He's going to be 31 this year. So I think it's just the age thing. I just like younger guys, more durable guys.
Yeah, you do.
No disrespect to T.Y.
You do.
You sound like Joe Exotic.
I like I was gonna say cats. Yeah, cats that just are on the field
I like
more.
younger cats.
You can't score. You can't score if you're not on the field. You know what I mean? So that's my T.Y. That's my T.Y. take. That's my T.Y. take.
For sure. You guys got anything else on T.Y.? Pretty much.
He 4'5".
4'5". All right, we jump into number 11 right here. We got Amari Cooper from the Cowboys. You guys can touch on him because I got some numbers of why I don't like Amari Cooper. I actually don't have him ranked. I think I had him, at like the 18th, somewhere around there, give or take.
18th hole?
He just got paid though, 5-year, $100 million contract. So he's making that Michael Thomas money. But yeah, so why do you guys? I mean, where did you guys at? You guys all had him relatively like what in that range, right? 9, 10, 11.
I think I had him at 11.
I have him at 9, but like I said, it's all relative at that point. But no, I mean, since he came in, since he got traded to the Cowboys with Dak, he's been what, top 6? I know he was wide receiver 1 the last year from the week 10 on.
Yeah.
And then this past year, he still finished inside the top 10 with which you'll get to the couple dud games, but. I just like Michael Gallup year 3. He should get better. I actually like Blake Jarwin. They got rid of Jason Witten, so they need some sort of tight end that doesn't run like a slug, like Jason Witten was just clogging up the middle of the field.
Dude, Jason Witten's fast.
Chase Claypool?
Yeah, for sure. They just need somebody better than just, some athletic tight end, and Jarwin looks decent. So I think with Michael Gallup, and if you never know, they could go get a slot guy, but I just feel just another year, chemistry, Mike McCarthy, calling the plays. He did a good job using, all the different receivers and shit out there in Green Bay. So usually his number 1 receiver did pretty good. So that's why I like Amari. And he's young still, man. He's like 25, 26 years old.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
I feel like he's been in the league for like 5 years.
Yeah, he was 20. He was
Kansas
20
State
when he came
right?
into the league. Yeah, so he's one of those young guys. So
I mean, at this point, you're a fool if you say Amari Cooper's not going to have boom or bust games. It's like, it's going to fucking happen. I mean, I think. Yeah. Watch him go out and be like number 1 receiver consistent.
Dude, hopefully.
But I mean, it's coming down to when I get to these guys, it's coming down to guaranteed targets for me. Is he going to have guaranteed production? Will I probably take him at 11? I don't know. I don't think it's early, but only 120 targets last year, which wasn't the highest. So he still put up pretty good production on 120 targets. It was I think like 1,100 and something yards, I believe 7 or 8 touchdowns and 80. Does anybody? I'll pull the numbers up. think it was like 80 something receptions. Sorry for the break. 79 receptions, 11, 89, and 8 touchdowns. That's on 120 targets, which isn't that much isn't that many targets. I see the target volume going up is what I'm going to get at. So with me seeing that going up, it's kind of the rankings just kind of almost coming in by default. He's going to be a little boomer bust. He's been it for 4 years now. So to say he's not, yeah, it's going to happen. But it comes with all these guys. You get into, where we're coming in now. T.Y. Hilton, is he going to have boomer bust games? Yeah. You get into, Mike Evans, and you start getting to this range of guys. They're all going to be boomer bust. So it's, I kind of feel like as of right now, where we're doing our early rankings, I feel like 11's just fitting based off of the targets, production, and what you're getting from him. I'm really not overthinking it too much, basically.
Yeah,
I'm just saying the targets are going up and the numbers are going to be there, and he's going to fall there.
For sure. For me, like I said, I didn't have him in my top 12. I had him around, I think it was like 18 or 19, and this is why. He's just too boomer bust for me. So since being traded to Dallas. From Oakland in half-point PPR, he's had 23 games in Dallas. He's had 13 games where he's scored over 10 points in half-point PPR, and he's had 10 games where he's scored under 10 points. And what I don't like seeing is he disappears in your championship and in the playoffs. Last year in 2019, weeks 15 and week 16, 2.4 and 4.4 points. This is not. I mean, if I'm in the championship, I need my guy to perform, and he's barely giving me. He's not even giving me 5 points. In 2018, week 15 and week 16, 6.3 and 4 points. Back-to-back duds again. This is just someone I just can't trust. And I know we kind of touched on it. Me and you were discussing last night, the correlation of 1A and 1B. We kind of saw Michael Gallup emerge a little bit last year. And I do think that I'm not going to have any shares of Amari Cooper on my team, but I think I'm going to have a ton of Michael Gallup because I think you're getting maybe like a slight drop-off of what the production could be, but with several rounds later where I could get Michael Gallup in like the 8th, 9th, 10th round possibly, compared to like the 2nd or 3rd round that I'm gonna have to spend on Amari Cooper. I'd rather try to get like a safer floor guy. I don't want a guy who, like I said, in weeks 15, 16, who's gonna get me 5 points in the championship.
Yeah. Amari Cooper's probably gonna be how I felt with Derrick Henry last year, where it's like I'm gonna rank him there. I probably won't take him there, but he's gonna be the player that I'd rather be wrong on than right on. But I will take him at a certain value. So if he were to fall to like 15 or 16, then I'd take him. But he's probably not going to fall there. But there's definitely a possibility that the injury had something to do with it last year, and that he did show like almost a full straight year of pretty good production. But I probably won't take him because it's like I'd rather be wrong on him at this point. Like to your point about the boomer bust games, the down games, it's just too much. So it's like if he finishes number 3 receiver, cool. I'm not mad that I didn't take him. He's not going to be one of those guys where I'm like, fuck, I should have taken him. I'll be like, well. That's kind of how I felt about it.
Yeah.
And what I was going to say, Dak Prescott, too, I didn't say. So one of the games.
I like him.
Because I had him. So week 16, I don't think he's going to have one of these games ever again. He had 12 targets. Dak missed him on 8. He had 8 incompletions to Amari. So that it could be said about Amari, but Dak also missed 8 out of 12 targets to him. So I think they're going to have a better chemistry another year. I don't think you'll have those games. So I just wanted to throw that in there. I think Dak's going to get better to where that won't, he won't get those games. Or when they get when he faced Stephon Gilmore and got 0, they should be able to learn how to work around that kind of shit. So I think another year they should get better. And Michael Gallup's going to get better too. Michael Gallup I feel like he can get you a sneaky 10 touchdowns this year.
Yeah, I think we all like Gallup.
Yeah.
Pretty much said.
The reason I put Amari Cooper on my list is just because they paid that fool. They paid him a lot.
For sure.
I mean, Tyler, you talk about it a lot. As if it's like they paid the guy. They're not going to just not use him. They just gave him a 5-year contract for $100 million. I think they're going to use him
for sure.
You know what I mean? So that's why I have him ranked in there, just because I think he's going to be incorporated in almost every offensive play.
And he's our best guy.
Yeah, I mean Zeke's. Probably.
No, I mean receiver. No,
yeah, sure.
No, of course. Amari Cooper ain't taking no carries.
Right. But yeah, no. Yeah, so I think if they pay the guy, it's going to be a Cooper Zeke show, in my opinion.
For sure.
But
yeah. All right, we'll round out the top 12 right here. We got Mike Evans from the Bucks finishing in at number 12 for the consensus. I didn't have Mike Evans ranked. He's another guy where it's just it's kind of tricky. I had him all over. He'll be in my top 20, but top 12 just seemed a little rich. I'm not sure if this Buck offense is going to be able to sustain 2 top 12 wide receivers, with the difference in, Tom Brady compared to Jameis Winston gunslinging it, and if we're all so high on Chris Godwin again, is there going to be enough to eat for both these guys? I mean, what are you guys feeling about it?
Yeah, I just looked. I have him 7. I'm tripping. I probably would have moved him down, but that's fine.
No, I think I have him in the. No, I have him 8.
He was like 12. I was like, where do I have him? I was like 7. God damn. No, that's fine. No, I mean the thing I do like about him, and I know we've used the word, is consistency. Like since he's gotten into the league, Mike Evans he's been good. I mean he's been getting the job done with different quarterbacks. So he's been good with Jameis. He's been good with Fitzmagic. So he's one of those guys. He's going to be good regardless. And he's also he can get you on those deep balls. He can get you a 50-yard touchdown and make your week in a catch. So in Brady, I mean, like I said, it's all going to have to do with the offense and how Brady clicks. But I feel like he might be one of those slower start guys, to be honest, that you can maybe buy later because Brady's got to learn all this shit with everything going on. But he's just so consistent that when he's on the field, he just gets a job done. That's why it'd be tough to take him. I don't even know if he's ever had a year outside of like the top 25 other than like once maybe. So it's like, which I'll go look up right now.
Maybe not even that. He's had 1,000 yards every year.
Like every year. So
it's like he's a tough one for me. It's like, it's we've said multiple times now that, like, I don't think Brady's thrown for 5,000 yards, but I think Brady is going to have a somewhat successful season. But that yardage is going to come down. I think the touchdowns could replicate it around that, just based off of the system and the way it's played. New England was, like I said, for multiple. It's always run heavy in the red zone. Always like very, very run first, pass second. Versus this is the exact opposite type of offense. It's like pass first, run second. Oh, wow. So I think he's still going to have some value. I just haven't been able to find out where I'm going to put it. He's just like it's like if I'm plugging all these pieces in, he's like, I got him on the side. I don't know where to put him yet. Yeah. It's like I could slide him in the top 12. He's on that. He's that cusp type of guy for me. He could be anywhere from 16 to 10 when it comes to season end. Basically. So, but I think he's going to be a solid guy at the end of the year. It wasn't very informational, but it's just like he's like a polarizing player to rank. He's like probably like the hardest player I'm trying to rank out of all the players so far.
Yeah. He's 3, 17, 9, and 15 have been his last 4 rankings for PPR. 3, 17, 9, 15.
I'm waiting to see, like, right now I have Godwin. I think I said it when we were talking about Godwin, but it's like I have them right next to each other, and it's right now because of last season how Chris Godwin did, I have him above Mike Evans, but I really I'm not going to decide which guy's I'm going to have ranked higher until we figure out who Tom Brady likes. Yeah. And I think that's just going to be a huge thing during, like, obviously coronavirus is going fucking crazy right now. It's running rampant. So
best friends.
So that's why, like, so they're not obviously like practicing together and whatnot. I mean, I just don't. Depending on that, I think just because. Nah, I don't want to say that. I was gonna say Brady targets tight ends, which are bigger guys, and Mike Evans a pretty big guy.
Yeah,
I don't know.
6'5".
Maybe 6'5", 500 pounds. Maybe he's
maybe he's just switched to baseball.
Original Average Bros listeners will know what that reference means, but yeah. So I'm waiting until preseason and whatnot to see where they're at.
We gotta have that day one listener who's like, "Oh, that joke." I remember when that came out. That was a good one.
I was listening to some old ones. I was trying to clip some shit.
It's just crazy because for me, it's like I think Mike Evans is a better wide receiver than Chris Godwin, but who fits the system of the Bruce Arians offense better? And like, who have we like seen Tom Brady lean on? It's the slot guy, and we saw Chris Godwin emerge last year from the slot. I'm just not sure if I can trust Mike Evans. I mean, we're watching some of these Mike Evans highlights here, and a lot of these passes are like 30, 40-yard passes from Jameis Winston down the field. I'm not sure if Brady is going to be chucking it 40-plus yards consistently. I mean, I know we joke around a lot. Everyone says Brady's the GOAT, but if you watch a lot of those offenses outside of the year with Randy Moss, it's a lot of dink and dunk. It's a lot of quick, short passes, and I'm not really sure if that kind of like if that caters to what Mike Evans is and what he brings to the table. He is like a deep threat guy, a jump ball kind of guy right there. So he's tough for me. I'm not sure if I'm going to have him in any of my leagues just because there's just too many questions that I'm not sure about. Not doubting his talent because I think he's, guy's, super talented. He's, one of the top 10 best wide receivers talent-wise in the entire NFL. Like, if you put him, throw him on a team with like Aaron Rodgers, and you could argue saying that him and DAVANTE ADAMS could both finish top 5, But
for sure,
in this offense with Tom Brady, with all the question marks, I'm just not sure how much I like it. How many targets is he going to see? That's what I'm just worried about.
Yeah.
Hopefully he doesn't do that.
Yeah.
I'll take him. I feel like I'll let him slip to me.
This is supposed to be a highlight reel, and it's just showing him limping off
Oh,
the field.
bro, I had him in this. He scored this and then was out for the season.
Yeah.
For audio listeners,
he
go to our
scored.
YouTube,
Yeah, he scored
subscribe.
for me. He scored for me, and then he
That
never
was
came
playoffs, right? Fantasy playoffs?
Yeah, it was week 13. Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
hot.
no, 14. No, it was 14 because he missed the last 3 weeks, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, he actually had a career low in catches this past season, and he still had 1,150 yards and 8 touchdowns. So,
I mean, he good.
yeah, he's going to – I'll see it. I like it. But
Yeah.
he's somebody who's gonna get
Jesus
drafted.
Christ,
Oh my god,
slam
I feel
again.
like he's
Wait,
someone
wait,
that's
wait.
going as a wide receiver 2 in like actual drafts. So he's someone that if you can get him at that like realm of talent level as far as tiers, you can win a league if you get another wide receiver with him, or if he puts up wide receiver 1 numbers and you get him you draft him as a 2, your team's gonna be loaded. So
Yeah.
He's going to be a guy where I think he just gets drafted higher than I feel comfortable, so I probably won't have him. But if he slips, then yeah, I'll take a shot on him for sure because he's a talented guy.
I think after these top 5 guys, I would consider them as like tier
Jesus
2. Like
Christ.
yeah.
Him jumping helped him. He's like wee.
Yeah, for audio listeners, go to our YouTube and you can watch what we're watching. Okay.
out.
All right. Subscribe to the YouTube channel while you're there. AVG Fantasy Football. Search it on YouTube.
For sure. You guys want to jump into the honorable mentions here?
Yeah, we can do that. Let's do
Reach,
that.
throw ones. You got 16, 12. What you got? What's
So
one,
so
two?
these are some guys that we all kind of had. Like I said, once we got past like the top, I feel like it's top 7, 8 guys. I feel like we had, there was a handful of guys when we got to like 9, 10, 11, 12 where we were kind of like it could go either way. It's all over the place. It's early. So here's some guys that a couple of us had that some of us didn't have on our list, but I did or Anthony did, Dre or Mike. You guys had them on the list, but you got the list, Mike, or no?
No, I do not.
Oh, okay.
Who had Keenan Allen on that thing?
I emailed it to you.
Oh, shit. My bad.
Well, the first one I know it was up there. It was Odell Beckham. So
Okay, excuse me.
I did not have Odell ranked in my top 12.
I think I'm the only one who did.
Mike, you did, and Andre, you had him as well.
Yeah, but I already took him off by the end of this podcast. He's not even on it anymore.
He
He's
got-
already off the shit.
He got hurt already.
I already convinced myself STEFON DIGGS is more important to me. So,
That's so funny.
so sorry, OBJ. Nah, I'll claim him. Fuck it. Yeah, I have him at 12. And honestly, it's
You
just
sound
like
excited about that.
I'm honestly not like. To be honest, and I'm sure there's the Odell lovers in this world that are like, what? Are you kidding me? Listen, bro.
Dude.
He's just. I believe I have to see it. Like Baker Mayfield.
emailed you it.
Baker Mayfield has been iffy to say the least.
Yeah, I must have not deleted it or downloaded it. It's
So
okay. But yeah, no, I
yeah.
mean, dude, I think it really comes down to for Odell is like, will he fucking figure it out this year? Will Odell Beckham Jr.
I forgot about it.
What's it called? Or excuse me, will Baker Mayfield figure it out this year? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's like a big part of it.
Yeah.
Do you guys think what
If
do you
Baker
guys,
figures it out, it would definitely change his outlook. But I mean, I don't know if he's gonna figure it out. I mean, and then it's just like, I don't know. You could Tyler, you go ahead on.
So yeah, I got a ton of numbers right here on Odell. So came in his rookie year, kind of burst out onto the scene. Finished wide receiver 6 his rookie year, 130 targets, which was only 17th most. So he wasn't heavily targeted, but he put up some crazy numbers. He was a touchdown machine. He was a yardage kind of guy. Second year, wide receiver 5, 158 targets. So you like seeing that 7th most. Put up a ton of numbers again. Third year, 2016, wide receiver 4, 169 targets. That was actually second most in the entire league. So just heavily involved, and that's kind of what gave him the opportunity to, put up these huge numbers and make him a top 5 wide receiver. 2017, got injured after 4 games, so pretty much missed the entire year. 2018, finished wide receiver 16, 124 targets. So you don't really like seeing that. Targets fell from 158, 169 back down to 124. That was the 14th most. So you don't like seeing that. And then last year, wide receiver 26. He had 133 targets. That was the 12th most. And he actually got out-targeted by Jarvis Landry, 138 to 133. So I think the days of seeing 150-plus targets, 160-plus targets, those days are long gone for Odell. I think 130 targets is his ceiling, especially with them acquiring Austin Hooper. You still have Njoku. Do they incorporate him? I mean, I think Njoku actually gets traded on draft, during the draft. But then you got a full 16-game slate of Kareem Hunt, who was heavily incorporated in the passing game, out of the backfield. So it's just how much is there to go around. You know, compared to in New York, you know, it was the Odell Beckham Jr. show. It was him and that was it. And now it's like you got Odell Beckham, you got Jarvis Landry, you have Austin Hooper, David Njoku, you got Chubb who's running the ball, you got Kareem Hunt, and then then eventually it all falls down onto Baker Mayfield. Can Baker Mayfield make that jump? Can he throw for 4,500 and 30 plus touchdowns? I mean, that is yet to be seen. And I don't know. Just he's burned me too many times, so I have a bitter taste when it comes to Odell.
I think a lot of people do.
He's dead to a lot of people, probably. He did have off-season core and groin surgery. Do you think that could have played a role into some of his issues last year, potentially?
I mean, I'm sure that's to add to the multitude.
I mean,
of
if you get
problems
surgery,
that
you're not just getting surgery for fun.
I can see.
Hey,
Odell
doc,
doing that.
come cut me.
Even if that's the point, do you think he surpasses? I mean, like I said, he was getting 150, 160, basically 170 targets at one year. He's second most in the entire league. Fell to like 124 and then 133. So, I mean, when you're saying there's guys like, a couple guys we're going to touch on, who are going to see 140 plus, 150 plus targets. I mean, if he's not putting up these double-digit touchdowns, if he's only seeing 120, 130 targets, is he going to put up top 12 numbers?
I don't have him in the top 12.
Yeah, I mean, it's all Baker. I think it's Baker Mayfield. He missed him on a lot of stuff too. He had a lot of drops, but their offense was just in disarray the whole year. So that's why I had him talent wise. He should be up there because he's a freak. When you get the ball in his hands, like he can do it. But I just want to see that before I can move him up. That's why I said I would put Diggs over him.
I don't even know if I'm going to have him in my top 20, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to say. Yeah. But
yeah, I think it's like one of those things is Odell's been drafted every year right next to the Mike Evans, right next to like T.Y. Hilton, right next to all these guys that I would much rather have on my team, like year-to-year basis. It seems like he just got those those crazy one-handed catches, and it just kind of wrote him down as just because they're in big games too, Yeah. Like they just kind of like cemented him as, oh, dude, this receiver is amazing. Well, also went to college, but I don't know.
It's like it's not sidetracking, but like they'll be like, "Oh, did you see the one-handed catch the guy made in training camp?" I'm like, yeah, dude, they're all fucking NFL receivers. They all make one-handed catches.
Yeah, and they also have I don't want to be that guy, but those gloves are so fucking sticky. Have you ever worn those gloves?
Definitely a difference. They probably have even stickier gloves.
It is crazy when you see like crazy catches from back in the day when they didn't wear gloves.
Yeah.
They
like old school football when they only ran the ball.
It's just for me, like if I'm going to take one of these receivers, I'll take Jarvis Landry a round or two later compared to taking Odell,
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe 3 rounds later.
Yeah.
Maybe. Next guy.
Yeah. Let's go into it. We got
Juju Smith-Schuster here.
Poo Poo Smith-Schuster.
I actually had Juju in my top 12. I have him at 11. Mike, I think you had him ranked, right? I think you had him at 12.
Yeah, I have him at 12.
Anthony and Dre did not have Juju in there.
I literally forgot about Juju, so yeah, I couldn't.
Where would you put him in there? Would you substitute him for any of your guys? Because I think I
wouldn't even put him on this screen, but that's just me.
I don't think I would either.
I'd replace him with DJ Moore, but that's just me.
Yeah, me too. Agree.
But hey, he's a USC guy, so I fuck with him. Whatever. I like him. I mean, Big Ben coming back next year. That should be. I just want to see him do it as a number one. He had Antonio Brown, then Big Ben got hurt. So, and I just don't know how good their D is going to be good. I just, as a whole unit on offense, I just don't know. So, for that reason, I'd rather almost have like a number two I'd almost have a Calvin Ridley over a Juju at this point, just because I don't know, to be honest with you. So yeah, that's just me.
Resident Steeler fan.
I don't know.
I just
man.
don't trust him.
I
forgot, dude.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing that because I thought
No.
It's fuck the Steelers.
No, I mean, you're not
playing.
like you're,
Bro,
you're 100% right on what you're saying. Is like the Steelers, like our defense is what's good right now. Our offense, we did have a really good offense when we had Bell and we had Antonio Brown, and then
Martavis Bryant,
yeah,
Emmanuel Sanders. Jerome Bettis.
That was a long. Yeah, I mean,
Jerome Bettis.
I'm saying is like okay.
Plaxico.
Yeah, but even then, even those days, we had Troy Polamalu. That's kind of like what won us a lot of games. But
you guys had James Ferrier.
Well, now you have you have the new Polamalu.
Yeah, well, now we got Minka.
That's a savage.
But so yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
Odell, right? Sorry, Micah.
No, you're good. No, I mean you're not wrong though, Dre. It is. I do think that he just gets an uptick this year with Big Ben coming back. I know he had the Tommy John surgery and whatnot, so it's not looking good. But I don't know if you guys know this, but this is the first year ever that Ben Roethlisberger is working out in the offseason.
Seriously?
His first year ever, he's working out in the offseason.
Boy.
So I mean, if that shows that like he's committed to come back, I think Ben will do less than he did before, but he'll still be much better than Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph. So
I mean, he's gonna. We've seen him pepper Antonio Brown with targets, so he's gonna throw him the ball. It's just a matter of.
And Juju's a great dude too. Like,
yeah, no, for sure. I fuck with Juju.
Yeah, like, I mean, he's a smart guy too. He's not only just being a really good NFL player. He's like putting himself out there in other social medias and stuff. So I don't know. He's a smart guy. So I think I have him at 12, but I could easily move him down just from all the what ifs, all the question marks with the Steelers offense.
He just hasn't done it. Like Dre said, like I was worried about him in press coverage like before and last year, and it just hasn't done anything to change. And then Big Ben's like kind of more of the X factor. I mean, you probably know this too. I was about Tommy John surgery. You don't just come back. I mean, even pitchers in the MLB who are like 22, 23, it takes them over a year to fully recover, and even then, it takes them almost 2 years to get velocity back.
And this one's bigger.
Yeah, a lot of times if they come back at a year, they either re-injure that elbow if they come back too soon. They usually have issues. They're coming back faster. And the velocity is usually down. So at 38 years old, I'm just having a hard time seeing him come back with the same type of zip on his. I almost said his fastball, but in a sense, his fastball
on his balls.
On his balls. So I just think.
He's going to need some load management on those.
Yeah, he's going to need some load management. So I just think there's real potential for Big Ben to be in trouble with that elbow, which is going to lead to Juju. And then, like I said, getting into him being a number one, beating these coverages is we haven't seen it yet.
Very good.
For sure. I mean, for me, it's just I think people are sleeping on Juju. I think he could be a value, for where he's going to get drafted. I mean, people forget, like last year he was going as a top 10 receiver. Some people have him in the top 5, and and I know people are talking about like, oh, can he beat man coverage, whatever, whatnot. But before we even saw that, some people were drafting him, as a top 10, top 5 potential wide receiver. I mean, in the 2018 he finished as the wide receiver 9, and that was 166 targets that year. That was in that year, AB had 168. So I mean, they were just throwing the ball a ton. Does that change a little bit with the defense? I think that Steelers are going to have one of the best defenses, at least top 3. So do they have to throw the ball a ton like they did in the past? Probably not. But I mean, he's going to be the main guy in this offense. Yeah, Deontay Johnson is decent wide receiver. We saw him kind of emerge a little bit. James Washington here and there. They signed Eric Ebron. We'll see how much he gets incorporated. I do like Ebron a lot. I think he's going to be a good tight end for them. But I think that Juju is the main guy here, and I mean, granted, the elbow is a big question mark for Big Ben right there, but I mean, can Juju see 130, 140 targets? And if he does, I think you got to put him in that top 12 range right here. And even if he can't do the best, beating the man coverage, we've seen him do some, these 50-50 contested catches. He can go up there and get it and fight for the ball. Just like any of these other good receivers. So I think people are sleeping on Juju. Also in a contract year, so if he wants to get paid, he's going to have to go out there and perform.
Yeah, he better. I'm rooting for him. Like I said, I like him. He's definitely going to get the love, the targets, like you said. So just a matter of what he does with them.
Who would you draft first, Odell or Juju?
I would go Juju.
Yeah, because I mean, ultimately,
I'm just asking because Dre has Odell at 12, and he said that he doesn't want him there, and then he said he doesn't even want Juju at honorable mention. So,
well, yeah, I mean, it just depends on what you like. Like,
I might go Odell. That's tough.
Because Juju, I mean, where you're going to get him, he's going to fall. It just depends on what you like. So,
I just think if he's obviously their best wide receiver, and like these offensive coordinators obviously are thinking like, okay, how are we going to move the ball through the air? He's our best wide receiver. He's our best weapon. So, he's going to get targeted. You find ways to scheme him. Maybe you put him in motion. Maybe you line up. Maybe, he lines up in the slot a little bit more compared to, last year where he was kind of, they were saying, he's finally going to have to move to the outside with no AB. So, maybe with Deontay Johnson and James Washington, you can put those guys on the outside, and maybe you could throw Juju back into the slot where he's more comfortable, where he had that monster year where he finished as the 9th best wide receiver.
Dude, that's a good point is because I think Big Ben only played like one game last year. I can't remember. But we didn't really see how he worked with Deontay Johnson and James Washington.
Yeah.
It was really just we still had Dante Moncrief on the team at that point. So it was like
Who?
Exactly.
Yeah, right. Exactly. But that was like the guy. That's what we tried to make work when we played the Patriots. That one game when Big Ben got hurt, and so yeah, you don't know. Those guys could end up lining up on the outside, like you're saying. So, yeah.
For sure. Jumping
Juju.
to the next guy, you got Keenan Allen. I think I'm the only guy who actually ranked Keenan Allen. He's just one guy I just wanted to touch on just so I can get your guys' input on him. But I had him at number 12. Another guy, like I said, you hear me talk about it a lot, but contract year for him. So if he's going to want to get paid, it's going to be crazy because, they always say like the receivers set the market. The next guy gets paid sets the market. So, I mean, if I'm one of these receivers, I love seeing Michael Thomas get $20 million. I love seeing Amari Cooper get $20 million. And then if I'm like an Keenan Allen or a Juju, like I'm hoping these other guys like a Cooper Kupp or a Kenny Golladay, I hope they get like 16, 17, 18 million because that just means that I'm going to get just as much, if not even more. So hopefully he can go out and produce. But I think the biggest question mark with Keenan Allen is no more Phillip Rivers. So does Tyrod stay as the starting quarterback? There's been some chirps that maybe they go out and they get Cam Newton. Do they move up and get Tua? Do they get Justin Herbert, Jordan Love, one of these rookie quarterbacks in the draft? So how does that impact his value? But, I mean, the last 3 years, Keenan Allen, wide receiver 8, wide receiver 12, and wide receiver 3. And he's just been, like, super consistent, averaging 148 targets, 101 receptions, 1,260 yards. Not a big touchdown guy, but, I mean, he gets you 6 touchdowns pretty consistently each and every year. So, I mean, those are top 10 numbers right there across the board. So why is it you guys don't have them in your top 12?
Because those were top 10 numbers for Phillip Rivers.
I
There's a
think
huge difference in the numbers and yardage and touchdowns. Huge. It's not even close. Like 4,600, 4,300, 4,500. Tyrod's like barely a 3,000-yard quarterback. And then 32 touchdowns, 28, 23, 33, 29, 31. Tyrod's like probably like just up ahead, like a 17 touchdown type of guy. It's just, I probably don't even like, he probably won't even escape my top 18. With Tyrod, changes if they do draft a quarterback and that quarterback comes in and is more of a modern
let's say
type of
they get
quarterback.
a Justin Herbert,
Right, yeah, I feel like-
or like a Tua.
I feel like that's how you ranked it too. Was like that, Tyler? Is that you were kind of ranking as their Tyrod Taylor not being the quarterback or no?
Yeah.
I feel like you're kind of banking on the fact that they might sign a Cam Newton or something.
Yeah, they're for sure going to draft one of these rookie quarterbacks. So
Yeah. I mean, even with the rookie quarterback, I'm still probably not putting him in there because it's like these rookie quarterbacks don't come in throwing for 4,500 yards and 30 touchdowns. You just don't see it unless, I mean, you can't really count. Patrick Mahomes wasn't a rookie, but they're usually in the 3,500 range, 20 touchdowns, 25. And even Andrew Luck his rookie year. I mean, and they're not drafting Andrew Luck to say. So it's the targets are going to come down. The yardage is going to come down. The consistency is going to come down. And if he's only a 6-touchdown guy with someone who's throwing 30 touchdowns a year, 25 to 30, how am I going to feel about him getting touchdowns when he has a guy who can barely throw for over 20 or a rookie quarterback? It's not making me feel well.
Boo. Well, he's going to hit you with the numbers. I'm going to go up. I also don't really like him. Phillip Rivers is the reason, but I feel like it was more they were more like a chemistry thing. Like that's what it was with those two. Like he knew how, Keenan Allen came out of his breaks because he's such a good route runner. Like that's where they were good at. Like he knew where Keenan Allen was going to be like before he was there. So he was able to like throw him open and like he knew like, like the nuances of like the running of the routes and all that shit. To where that's something that takes time. Like that's not something that you could just teach. So whether it's Tyrod or even a rookie, I feel like Keenan Allen's stock is the one that took a bigger hit because of that reason. To where like a rookie's not going to know when you have those routes where Keenan Allen can either settle in the middle of the field or run an out route. Like you know what I mean? Phillip Rivers knew who Keenan Allen, how he'd like to do all that kind of stuff. So I think that's what's going to hurt him. On top of the stats that Tyrod really doesn't sling it, is just that it was a chemistry thing.
And you still have Mike Williams there, who's another mouth to feed. He's not going away. You still have
Henry.
Hunter Henry, and then you still have the pass catching backs. It's
That's
So
what
do you
it
guys
hurts him.
think you think even top 20?
maybe not with Tyrod, with the rookie
Yeah.
possibly. With Tyrod,
I
probably
wouldn't.
not.
But he's somebody that like when you're drafting, if he slips, it's like at a certain value, yeah. But like what ADP, like third, fourth round, I can convince myself to take somebody else.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at with.
Mike, you got anything to say on?
But I fuck with Keenan Allen though.
I
No,
like Keenan Allen.
Yeah,
though.
he's
Like,
cool as
as a-
fuck, man.
Yeah.
That was funny.
I just talked bad about him, but I like him.
Nah. His video of him
Not him,
snapping on
the
Madden
situation.
when he found out his overall rating in Madden. Have you seen it?
No.
Dude, he was hot. He's like, how's my route running at 83? He's like, what? Yeah, he's hot. You should go look at it. It's pretty funny.
That's funny. No, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of the same way. I didn't put Keenan Allen. I don't think I had my Keenan. No, I did not. Yeah, no, I didn't have Keenan Allen in there. I think just with the quarterback change, there's a lot of question marks. Yeah, and even then, I still am not really like, I don't know. I'm kind of hard on predicting the Chargers just because like last year I was kind of with Tyler on the whole Mike Williams train. I really thought that was going to be it. And so sometimes I'm just kind of questioning my judgment on what's going to happen with the Chargers offense. And so that's why I kind of took them off.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right.
For sure. We'll jump to the next guy here. You got Allen Robinson from the Chicago Bears. Now, if you've listened to this podcast, you know I'm like the residential Allen Robinson hater. I would just always, throw shade at him all the time. But I'm also a numbers guy. So, I say it all the time. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. And looking at the numbers, it's pretty impressive. I think 154 targets. I think it was third most, right?
Yeah, he was,
up there.
I think on targets per game, he was like
underrated.
second or third.
Yeah. So, I mean, looking at the numbers, I'm a kind of guy where I like to find consistent guys each and every week. Like, is this guy going to get me, 10, 12 plus points as a floor each and every single week? And it was just like looking at his numbers, especially in PPR, and like his floor was just consistent across the board each and every single week. So, I mean, I think, Anthony, you had him in at 12 or 11?
Yeah, it was just like literally you kind of pretty much said why he was there. I mean, 150 targets week in and week out. I mean, if you're seeing 150 targets, you're pretty much averaging 9, 10 a game. You catch even half those, you're 4 or 5, catches a game, and that's like you said, safe floor. He's shown some big touchdown upside in the past, 7 last year. So it's just like a volume thing where it's like, all right, like this motherfucker is just like all they have, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
Anywhere's number 12.
There you go.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I just look at it as like, okay, who's throwing on the ball? Mitch Trubisky. For sure, I'm
Nick
good.
Foles, bud.
Yeah, I know it's Nick. I know it's going to be probably Nick Foles this year, but I mean, they did trade everything and anything to get Mitch Trubisky, so they still have to kind of play that whole.
Yeah.
But I mean, even the guy, I think it was a GM that wanted Mitch Trubisky. I think he doesn't anymore.
Clearly.
Yeah, but I'm saying, yeah. So what I look at the quarterbacks, and even with Nick Foles, do you think Nick Foles is a real deal? Do you think he's Big Dick Nick, or do you think that? Like, do you think he could be? Do you think he's that much of an improvement off of Mitch Trubisky?
It's just tricky because
I think he is, but not by much.
He's just a better quarterback.
Yeah, I don't think people realize this. There was a brief stint where Nick Foles was the backup quarterback in Kansas City, and when Matt Nagy was there as the offensive coordinator. So there's obviously something that Matt Nagy knows or has seen in Nick Foles that made him want to go out and get him. He's gonna know the offense. He knows what to expect and whatnot. So. Can we see the changing of the guard, halfway through the year? That's a possibility, and that kind of worries me. Like, I mean, even as bad as Trubisky is, or he has his moments up and down, but it's like Allen Robinson still saw 154 targets. I mean, like
that's
I said, he was
wild.
still consistent, even with how poor of Trubisky was at times. I'm just worried about if they start off rocky, if they start off 2-4, 3-5, something like that. Do they switch over to Nick Foles? Isn't Matt Nagy worried about like I might lose my job, so I got to throw Nick Foles to try to save my job? And then what is the difference between Trubisky throwing the ball compared to Foles? Does Foles favor the slot guy? Kind of we were big on D.D. Westbrook last year, and that was because we were thinking like Foles would favor that slot guy. So if Foles steps in, does he kind of lean on Anthony Miller out of the slot a little bit more, or does he stay peppering Allen Robinson with all these targets?
See, I think like when you're making a top 12 rankings, I think you're kind of saying like you want this as your wide receiver 1. You're saying like you're comfortable with that. Like I'm not comfortable having Allen Robinson as my number 1 wide receiver. I would rather draft a running back over him.
For sure.
Feel it.
I agree. I agree 100%.
Yeah, so that's why I don't have him in mind. But
it'd be nice to get him at like
it'd be cool
as
to
your third receiver,
right?
Somehow, because then it's
what
like
happened.
okay, then my third receiver is going to be better than
That's what happened.
You just go receiver.
I mean, last year he went
Unless
pretty
you play
low.
with everyone who's like a Packers and Lions fan, they're like fuck Bears. Yeah. Some people are like that. They won't take other teams.
That is the division where that happens too. Is that it's like Packers fans and fucking Lions fans and shit. They
But
get
are
all
you worried a
emotional.
little bit of the emergence of Anthony Miller? It's year 3 for him. I mean, we kind of saw it towards the end of the year. You know, he's one of those guys who's been battled injuries for like the majority of his time in the league. So do we see like a jump, in Anthony Miller's game? Maybe he gets a couple more of those targets.
I mean, I'm sure that even 20 more targets for him is good. So if he takes 5 from Robinson, 5 from someone, like, that's fine. I'm sure Anthony Miller will carve out a role, but he's their number 1 guy for sure. I liked him also with the Jags too. And then when he went to the Bears, I kind of didn't care for him because last year he wasn't as great. But this year, yeah, like you said, he was one of those. He's not going to lose you a game with his bad game. So we're like Amari when he would get you like a 0 or those like 1. Even Julio will get you like a 2. Would really like piss you off. At least with Allen Robinson, his bad games are still like 7s. In half point PPR, he's not going to hurt you on his bad games. So it's always good to have some consistency, even when it's on the lower end of the scoring for him. So
another guy, he's in a contract year as well. So
yeah, I have him
he's
at
trying
like
to get paid.
Everyone's in contract.
Yeah, bro, there's hella up here in
There's a lot,
contract
yeah.
year,
I'd put him
These
at, like-
receivers are. I mean, like I said, if you want to get paid,
15.
you want to secure the bag, you're gonna have to go out there and perform. So I feel like when you know that, especially like, hey, my livelihood, of me making 10, 12, 15 plus million a year is on the
How
line.
will I survive?
You're gonna go out there and you're gonna want to put up some numbers, because you want to get paid. So just a little extra incentive for these receivers to really go out there and perform.
Yeah.
yeah.
For sure. So we jump
just
into
saw
the
that
next
go.
guy. We got Courtland Sutton from the Denver Broncos. Just another guy. I think Anthony, you had him ranked. I don't think any of us had him ranked. He's a tricky guy as well. He'll be in my top 20. Do you have him ranked?
No.
I might have then.
No, I don't. Yeah.
I
No,
think Anthony had him
Anthony
at 12 or
has
something
him.
like that.
I think I got frustrated at the end of it. I was like, fuck, they couldn't pick a 12. I just
Yeah. See, my problem was there's too many people I like that 12. I was like, you know what? Fuck this. We're done.
So for me,
then
Courtland
I
Sutton,
fucked
he finished wide receiver 19 last year, and I actually have him at 19 right now, and that's kind of where I think he's going to be. He's like that wide receiver 2 flex guy. So if he falls and he's like my 3rd wide receiver, then I'll be happy. But I mean, one thing I liked about him is he averaged 8 targets a game, so it was consistent. His targets were like 7, 9, 7, 8, 8, 9, 7. Like they're all across the board pretty much. You knew what you were going to get. And outside of him, I mean, who's really there? You got Noah Fant. Maybe he takes that jump in the second year, as a pass catching tight end. But I mean, did they draft another receiver? There's a couple mock drafts that having them draft one of these rookie wide receivers. But outside of him and Noah Fant, I mean, you got Melvin Gordon and Phillip Lindsay, who obviously they'll get theirs. But for the receiver wise, I mean, who else is there besides him that's really going to take over? I mean, how many targets do you think he could see this year?
I mean, he had 126 last year. I mean, it was some pretty ugly quarterback play too for a good chunk of the season.
I'd say 135.
Yeah, I think
Not much.
There's a couple arrows pointing up, unless they take a first-round receiver. But even then, it's like you don't know if that guy's going to, or how late or where, or what the talent's going to be. But I don't know if it's a lock they take a first-round receiver or even second. So it's kind of hard to say with that. But 126 targets last year, 72 receptions, 1,112 yards, 6 touchdowns. So I think the target arrow is pointing up. I think the talent is, he's a talented receiver. So you got to kind of forecast some projection as far as more receptions, more targets, bigger plays. I just think the yardage goes up, reception goes up, and even the touchdowns potentially go up. Even if he gets into that 130, 140, that's what all these guys around this cusp are going to be, is the 130, 140. But to your point, said is he was 8 targets a game last year. He was pretty consistent. I don't think he saw a game below 7 targets.
Yeah.
So just pretty much the only receiver they have there. It could be a very similar situation to what we had in Allen Robinson last year, where it's like it's him, and he ends up seeing I don't know Anthony Miller's there, but it could be a year where he sees 140, 150 and falls into 90 catches and 1,300 yards and 6, 7 touchdowns.
Yeah. I mean, that is a lot of targets.
I'm projecting some growth with Courtland Sutton. I think it's they say the year
He's
lead.
got touchdown upside too. He's a big body guy, so
I think it was a year 3
touchdown
lead
upside
coming.
there for sure.
To be honest, I watched the Broncos play. Their games are boring as fuck. So he's cool. Like, I like him. He's good, but their play calling is fucking terrible. So I want to watch. I'll see where he falls. But he is a baller though. He can go and get the ball. Like, I like Drew Lock. He's got a cannon. They got some good athletes, but I feel like they just have so much shit to figure out. Like, he played 5 games, so is he our guy? We got Melvin Gordon coming in. How much do we want to use him with Philip Lindsay? Like, I just feel there's so many moving parts to an offense that's boring as fuck to watch already that I mean, they're already on the lower end of as far as scoring, and they're playing the Chiefs twice a year, who are a sneaky top 10 defense the back end of the year. They're playing the Chargers with a healthy Derwin James, so they're playing decent. And I went to look at their schedule. They play the Bucks, they play the Falcons. They're gonna get fucking smacked. So that'll at least help. They'll be passing a lot, but I don't know. As the Broncos overall, I don't know if I'd touch any of their players, to be honest with you.
For sure. Well, we'll jump into the last guy here. You got A.J. Brown. Mike, you're the only one who had A.J. Brown on here.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking this because I do like A.J. Brown. I'm not sure what his ADP is going to be.
I think right now, consensus for a half-point PPR, he's
Pretty high.
He's actually 15, so I'm not that far off
Yeah,
by
he's
putting him
not.
up there. Don't have to fucking...
No, and as I said, I'm not knocking it. I mean, one thing with him is like, we're touching on all these guys like Allen Robinson, Courtland Sutton, JUJU. These guys could see 130, 140 plus targets. I'm not sure if A.J. Brown gets in that region, but I'm also not sure if like he needs 130, 140 targets to make anything happen. I mean, we've seen he's kind of a boom guy where maybe he only gets you 6-7 targets a game, but he takes 3 of those for 100 yards and a touchdown.
I feel like Ryan Tannehill and and AJ Brown kind of established a connection this past year.
Yeah, he was balling.
So obviously like at the beginning of the year you didn't see that, but he really balled out towards the end of the year.
Yeah, he was a wide receiver 4.
Yeah.
The last like 8 weeks.
7 weeks.
Yeah. So.
And that's fucking horny, dude. And that's the kind of shit I want to see, dude. I want to see some horny ass plays, dude. Fucking 40 yards, bro. Horny.
He was impressive because as a rookie, when teams know you're their best player, and for a rookie, like teams still couldn't seem to stop him, it was pretty boss. Like
he's a big guy.
He was bringing you on deep routes. He was hitting him with everything. So.
Well, they were trying to stop Derrick Henry, and then they were like, "Oh, Derrick Henry's playing receiver too."
Yeah, dude's
big motherfucker.
He's a big guy.
Well, I think what helps him is, this offense does run through Derrick Henry and, off the play action. And, jokingly, before we started this, you were looking at some quarterback stats and you were like, who led the league in all these adjusted yards and pass rating, and you were literally like Tannehill. He like led the league in like all these crazy random stats. I mean, yeah, maybe the yardage wasn't there, maybe the total touchdowns wasn't there that you see, but when you're looking at this like passer rating, and all these other crazy other stats, it was Tannehill across the board, highly efficient when throwing the ball. That's why I was saying I don't think even if he doesn't see 130 plus targets and he only sees 100, 110, I think he'll make those targets and he'll be efficient with them. And here's a guy who's maybe he's going in the 5th round, give or take, somewhere around there. And if I can draft him and he's my 3rd wide receiver, I'm gonna be pretty stoked.
Once again, T, you're living in a dream world.
He's
He's gonna draft every receiver late, and every receiver's gonna be.
You don't think that he could fall into like the 5th round?
I mean,
you
if he
got to
right
think
now,
of all these running backs. You got to think about all the quarterbacks. You got to think about the tight ends. I mean, there's some people out there who reach for players that
man, fit.
Let's do something.
That's not even including the rookies that are coming in the draft. What about all these like rookies, wide receivers, and running backs that are coming into the league?
We're gonna do it for you right now, AJ Brown.
So I like AJ Brown. He's a man.
He's going in the 5th round right now.
Yeah,
maybe he's got a point.
Is he?
I'm just saying, there's going to be a ton of players that are coming off the board.
I mean, this might be a little off because it's like we got DK
Metcalf
going in front of him.
Oh yeah, it does say I have 5.
Oh yeah, thank you guys. Yeah, clip this shit.
That's wild.
Yeah, but that doesn't. That's incorrect.
Well, he ain't falling to that in our league.
How can he be ranked to 15 overall and then also?
Because that's the consensus of these experts,
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose, but I mean, if he's,
I
don't know.
But there's another.
He
guy.
could be your 3rd wide receiver, even if you dropped him in the 4th round. He could. You could go running back, receiver.
There he is, right there.
Where?
Right there.
Where's right there?
Nigga,
He's like 38. He's like
Behind
38. I just looked at this list the other day.
Wait, what do you mean right there?
He's go see where it says view our rankings. See the little blue thing right now?
Oh, there you go.
He's like.
Well, you made it sound like it was on the page I was looking at.
He's right after you were able to see
there.
it.
You have to go to half point PPR.
Right there.
Nigga, well, look at me say potty words, dude.
Let's see. Right, keep going. Right
38?
there. See, no, he's 35. I just
35.
looked at it.
There we
like-
go.
that's like
35.
35.
Okay, but you're gonna tell
That's
me.
round-
Okay, but
third
he's
round.
ahead of
Average
guys
37.
like he's ahead of guys like that we just touched on. Keenan Allen, Cooper Cup, Mark Ingram. Those are just a couple guys. Keep going down.
I would take AJ Brown over.
Devin Singletary, Le'Veon Bell, Adam Thielen. All those guys are going to get drafted ahead of him. You could argue that someone will draft Devontae Parker, Marlon Mack, Calvin Ridley. Maybe Ertz is for sure going to go ahead of him. Robert
I
Woods,
wouldn't
Stephon
take
Diggs.
Ertz.
All of those guys are going to go ahead of him.
I don't think so.
I was about to say I wanted to make a case for my guy Stephon Diggs since he wasn't on here because he's a boss.
Yeah. So what do you? All right.
You think Robert Woods will go ahead of him?
I think Robert Woods for sure will go ahead of AJ Brown.
No.
Oh,
I don't think so. I would.
Do you think Darren Waller will? I think he probably will. No, actually,
he's
tight
a
end.
tight end.
No.
He's a tight end.
DJ Chark.
But look, yeah, you got all these
No.
guys where you're like, you know,
I would take AJ Brown over DK Metcalf.
Me too. Over DJ Chark, would you?
Yeah, I would take him over T.Y. Hilton, but that's just me.
Terry
That's close.
McLaurin?
That's actually pretty close.
Yeah, that's pretty
But
interesting.
yeah, no, I just wanted to make a case for my guy Diggs. I would actually, honestly, probably would have put him 12. Now that looking at Odell's face, honestly, also pisses me off. He's got blonde hair.
Somebody
He's got
got face, I just wanna
he's got the
fucking
little
punch
dangly, but no, Diggs. I mean, he's
Yeah,
only
dude.
had 1 year of over 120 targets, and he was a wide receiver 10. So he doesn't need much. He had 95 targets, 150, and then 94. The 150 was when Dalvin got hurt, when they were just airing it out to him and Thielen. So he finished at 10 that year. The year before, he finished inside the top 20 with only 95 targets. So I don't think he needs that 150 anyway because he's so explosive. If Josh Allen can just learn to throw that deep ball with a little more accuracy, him and John Brown should eat. I mean, overall as an offense, I think they're going to make that step forward. So I just like, and you have to also think they gave up a first, a second, a fifth, and a sixth. So they got to protect their investment. They're going to give him the rock. Like, I mean, they pretty much gave up a whole draft to get Stephon Diggs. So, yeah, I like him. He's just he's like a bigger, stronger, faster John Brown.
yeah.
By
I'm
like-
torn
by
on
like
Diggs.
2 inches.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah, he's
torn
like-
on Diggs.
Bro,
I
2
think
inches in
he's-
NFL is fucking, is a good amount.
For
Dog.
sure.
A 5'11"
I don't know if he's
quarter.
faster than John Brown.
Dog, Diggs is a, bro, he
John
was-
Brown's
I mean,
fucking
yeah,
fast.
Diggs is super talented.
He's, and
I'm
he
not
finished,
doubting
and he
his
finished
talent.
fourth.
I'm saying to speed.
Yeah, and he finished fourth in the NFL last year in yards per catch.
Oh, Brown is way faster than
think Brown's
than
like-
Diggs.
Like straight line
Brown?
speed.
What, no, man, we're just,
John Brown or
said-
Stephon Diggs?
yeah.
I would say John Brown is faster.
I don't know. They both pretty.
He's a bigger, stronger, faster. It's like, I don't know if he's faster.
See,
John
Diggs
Brown's
is a-
fucking fast.
Yeah, they're both 4.4 guys. I just looked
Yeah,
at
but
it.
who's older?
Well, that's what I'm saying. John Brown, exactly. John Brown's 30 years old, and I'm looking at their combines. So John Brown's going to be 31 years old this year, and Diggs is 25 years old. You get what I'm saying? So,
He's got old
Okay,
man
dude.
strength.
and
so that's what I'm saying.
and John Brown's coming off the best year he's ever had.
turn it around.
So he 72 catches, 1,000 yards. You figure Diggs is better than that. So if Diggs can give me 85 for what 11 and 6, so that's a wide receiver one.
Yeah.
Like,
Because John Brown doesn't disappear though.
Yeah.
no, he won't disappear. Of course not. I mean, but you're not going to not give Diggs 110 targets after you just gave up your whole draft for him. At
Yeah,
least
but is
100.
110 targets enough to put him in the top 12?
Well,
Those are Josh Allen targets. Those are either
Yeah.
hitting the roof or they're.
well, that's the thing. You don't know. He has a whole nother year, so I like it.
130 Josh Allen targets is like 100 real targets.
So I like it. I think he's explosive. I think Diggs is.
This is good. And
I
you'll
think-
draft him. You'll draft him ahead of me. So I'm one of my players.
Yeah, I'll
just
take
like-
Diggs in like the I mean,
as a third
fourth
wide
round,
receiver.
fourth round. Yeah, hey, if he falls to me as a third wide receiver, I'd love to have Diggs. I'd love
Look at
to.
this.
don't know.
Look at this. Look at this.
Is this last year?
Last year,
Yeah,
fantasy points, Diggs was 18.
and John Brown was 19.
Yeah, and then, oh yeah, okay, never mind.
Yeah,
thought
now
it was-
look at.
Fantasy
no, but
points
point per
though.
game, dude.
Yeah, no.
18.
John Brown, the first 7 games, it was only him and Michael Thomas. They're the only guys that had like 4 catches and 50 yards in every game. But like I said, Diggs, like I have Brown in Dynasty. Diggs is more dynamic. He's a better. I mean,
Yeah, but who's cuter?
I don't know, man.
They look like they could be brothers.
So, and now
Okay.
Diggs has
We're
never
not
been.
doing. We're not doing this,
And
Anthony.
Diggs has never been the man, and he's been pretty productive, since he came into the league. So he finally gets his shot to be the number one. I think he can fucking ball.
Yeah.
'Cause he's got all the makings of it.
Anthony.
I'm torn on it
It's
because
same mustache, same.
The same blank stare into the abyss. Look at that.
That's what I'm saying.
They both look like they just seen a ghost.
that's how you look when you get Josh Allen throws you the ball. You're just like
You're tired.
You're like, bruh.
Bro,
It's like
down here.
It's
That
like
was
this.
that was my shout out.
It's like
That was
this.
my. I
It's
got
like-
you, Dylan. Hey, Diggs.
It's like, bruh.
Top 12 for
But
sure.
yeah, all right. So one thing with Diggs is I think he's super talented. You know, he's arguably one of the best wide receivers in the league. But this Bills defense is going to be pretty good. I'm not sure how often or how much they're going to have to throw the ball. Josh Allen, he likes to run the ball. So I think he had like 9 rushing touchdowns last year. So that obviously hurts the touchdown upside that Diggs offers. Then, like you said, Smokey Brown's not going away anytime soon. He's obviously going to be a part of that offense. And
Just one more year.
Just one more year at least. But at least one thing I say is him and Josh Allen have that rapport. They have that connection. So I think, you know, does he like try to feed Diggs? Yeah, but I think like he's gonna feel more comfortable and he's gonna lean on John Brown a lot too. And then also one thing I noticed, Beasley was kind of like the red zone guy. When they got in close, Beasley was like the guy. They do these quick little slants, quick little outs, short passes. So it's like where's the touchdown upside for Diggs? I mean, even if he sees 120 targets, I mean, how many yards is he really going to get with a Bills team that should be pretty competitive, good defense, just a lot of mouths to feed, and then Josh Allen running the ball as well.
Yeah, Josh Allen's like a Tyrod-esque. He's going to throw for like barely over 3,000 yards and right around for 20.
I think so.
Well, I mean,
this is his first full year, so
he might go. Let's say he pushes 34, 35, even still, and he throws for 24. He's going to run a fucking another 10 touchdowns. So it's like, like Tyler's, the touchdown ceiling to me is limited.
Yeah, I like the offense as a whole making a step forward. Josh Allen was the second worst QB in deep balls, so you can only get a little worse. So that's what I'm saying. If he could just work on it a little bit.
He might get worse.
So if he were that bad and John Brown was still that
I was
good.
the second worst?
So,
my beer.
So they should make that step. The Bills are going to win that division. So
Whoa,
He
chill,
said,
fam.
he said,
you obviously don't
What,
like
you
Josh
think
Allen.
that
Josh Allen's a fucking athlete. Y'all are
bro,
tripping.
you think the Dolphins are going to win that division?
Whoa,
Me?
dude,
No,
chill.
the Bills are going to win that division.
Wait, let's have a serious conversation. I think
I
you
was
guys
trying.
are going to do better than the Jets.
I don't think that it's unrealistic for them to
Aspire
win
to
the division.
try to
Do
win
you know
the
how
division.
there's always a team that goes from worst to first every single year in the division?
Except for the AFC East.
There's always a guy.
The Dolphins did it.
Except for
No, but I'm saying there's always a team that goes from worst to first. It happens every single year. The Dolphins did it one year, actually. They went from worst to first. They won the division. Obviously, all those other years the Patriots win. But that one year that the Patriots didn't win, it was the Dolphins. They went from worst to first.
Matt Castle.
There's a chance.
So
There's always a
So
guy that
you're
goes from
saying-
second worst to
I
worst.
think I'm a Dolphins fan. I'm biased, but I think people are sleeping on the Dolphins and how competitive they're going to be. Their defense is going to
do you
be
guys
pretty
had-
good, and
Listen, dude, you guys were trying to fucking lose last year, and you still won games.
I'm not sure if they were trying to lose because
your team, your management.
I don't think they were trying to lose.
I think Ryan Fitzpatrick didn't want to lose.
No,
I think
the coach didn't want to lose.
Yeah,
You
Brian
don't want
Flores
to
is
go
like-
in there with like, "Hey guys, we suck. Let's just lose every single game."
Well,
you
they
can't
don't
say-
tell the
you
players.
lose the locker room.
They don't-
No, but you lose the locker room.
Yeah, but
you want to build something. You want to go into next season with some momentum,
bro,
So-
you guys, when you guys played us, you guys fucked up the game. You
We
guys
didn't
should have
fuck
won
up
that
the
game.
game. You guys are just that defense gave up some touchdowns early, and I think that they rallied. And being at home, they came back.
Yeah,
I don't
know.
think that the Dolphins were just like, "Oh, let's throw this game."
No, I don't think the players were, and I don't think the coaches were, but I think that people doing play calls were.
I just think it's ridiculous to think that that they were actually tanking. I don't think they're tanking.
Well,
I think that Bengals, if anything, were actually tanking. They were finding ways to lose. I feel like
I think they were just really bad.
Flores isn't the kind of guy he's like, "Oh, guys, let's go out there and lose the game."
Fucking dog.
Yeah.
That's not the type of coach he is.
T.I. kicked your dog.
Look, dude, you probably know better than I do. Okay, I'm just talking out of my
bro.
ass, all right?
You always talk about your ass.
Yeah, dude, my ass talks really good.
I'm sure the Dolphins will be all right. I just think the Bills make the next step forward. That's why I picked Diggs.
I'll
That was
say-
my one pick. That
I'll
was my
say
guy.
I'll say a name, but we don't have to talk about him. We can talk about it in another episode. Say DJ Moore.
No, boss, go ahead.
He'll probably finish more likely in my top 12.
Yeah,
He was in and out a couple times.
Yeah. We should all do our top 20 before the season starts and post it.
You're
We
not
will.
worried for Teddy Bridgewater?
No.
The addition of Robbie Anderson?
No.
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 No. I'm not.
He got 135 targets last year. He's their number one guy. Not a shot. But if I look at OBJ's face again, he's going to slip out of my top 20. So,
Because every time Andre comes over, we gotta just have OBJ's face sitting there.
nah, I'll fuck with OBJ. I traded for him this year thinking I thought it was a trade rate.
Oh, bro, I've traded for
How about
OBJ
this?
Bro, I was like,
straight
if
years in a ton
OBJ
of
balls, I'm going to shit on this league. And I benched him the week of the playoffs. That's how bad I fucking
leagues. It
hated
was bad,
him.
yeah.
Okay, how about if LBJ finishes in the top 10, you have to wear an OBJ mask.
What do you mean? I'm the only one
walk
that
across the street,
Whoa.
walk down the strip.
What are you talking about?
I mean, I
Dre.
still had him at 12 or 13.
Why'd you look at me when you said that?
I think I still have him ranked higher than these motherfuckers, but I'm just saying.
No, I don't know. I think it'd be funny to do though.
Okay, well, in that case, we'll do it. Fuck it. You have to drink a beer first.
What does he have to do? Where OJ
McDuffie? OJ McDuffie?
Listen, Anthony, use your words. You got this.
And my boy,
Odell Beckham Jr.
my old
Mask?
boy goes, Tyler's tripping.
Yeah, he
on
just
having
has to wear
Aaron Jones on there.
He has to wear an OBJ mask. Don't make me mute your mic, Dre. He has to wear an OBJ mask walking down the strip. And
Alright.
he has to go out like when everything opens up
Can
again.
you get an OBJ mask?
Yeah, I'll make one.
Alright.
Wow.
I want to see this.
Just a piece of paper with OBJ's face printed on it. Okay. Well, you guys.
Dre's looking at asses,
Anybody
so we
else? You
gotta-
guys want
That's
to
not
wrap
true.
it
Don't
up.
say that.
say anything else on?
Nah, I mean, these
Nah.
are early. These are all going to change. So
Sure, they're all
Yeah.
early. It's
I mean, I was talking to Tyler. I was like, dude, I could take the same guy at 7 and put him at 15. And like, I could do the vice versa. It's like,
yeah, and a
the
lot.
receivers.
The draft is going to change a lot of that. So we're going to do another episode coming out on Friday. If you're listening to this, it's Monday now. And then after that, there's another episode coming out on Monday. That'll be a draft episode for the NFL draft. And then we're gonna do a little live stream companion podcast for the draft companion. Okay, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be super horny. Everybody bring your Viagra and Extends, and we're gonna all pop them at the same time on the live
And
stream.
your coconut oil.
Done.
Wouldn't that be fun? That'd be fun if we all just took boner pills and did a podcast.
All right, we're good.
All right, no, I'm just kidding, dude. That
I'm
got
down,
weird.
though. We'll just talk about it later.
What's the episode on Friday going to be about?
It's gonna be about. We're gonna do our repeat or deplete
I need more
for
enthusiasm.
wide receivers. Oh, dude, Friday's gonna be so fucking fun, dude. We're gonna do a repeat or deplete with more receivers, dude. More than we just talked about. How about that?
Done.
I heard that
done.
if in speech you gotta speak really quietly. So we're gonna do some wide receivers, and then it's gonna be a lot of fun, guys.
Holy Jesus,
So
you headphones.
it keeps you on your toes, dude. It's less monotone. Maybe we just go down here and that's what I'm talking about. STEFON DIGGS is a piece of shit.
Done. All right. I can't wait.
Okay.
Look forward to it.
I always forget to mention in the fucking beginning of the podcast about our table of contents, but it's end of episode. So
Oh
it
yeah,
doesn't make
and if you're
sense.
listening, if any of you guys want to play me in Madden, it's Dre That Dude 22 for some money.
Yeah, dude, that'll happen.
Holla at
Someone
me.
will play.
And if he beats you, then you have to
You
subscribe.
have to give us a follow. Yeah, you have to subscribe.
You should do that.
no,
Aren't
you have to.
ranked?
If you want to play him,
ranked.
you have to
Yeah,
subscribe.
if I beat you, you have to subscribe.
No, if you want to play him, you have to subscribe.
Can you throw in his thing,
Yeah.
his at the bottom?
Yeah, we'll
Dre
put it
that
on my
dude.
tag.
Hey, put it right here.
Yeah. Right where his
Clip
fingers
that
are.
shit.
Right here.
Yeah,
put it
clip
right
it.
here.
Yeah.
Dre that dude.
Dre That Dude 22.
So what happens if they beat you? Yeah, they have to suck your dick.
Whoa, man, I can't even put it on my shit.
Oh, dude, my bad. I'll bleep
seriously,
it. I'll bleep
damn,
it.
man.
What do you mean you can't put it
But
on
he's
your
not going to
stuff?
say no.
Yeah, well, like, what if I got like some professional I can't put on my Instagram talking about getting my dick sucked? Anyway,
Why not?
So if you beat me,
You
yeah,
gotta block Mamacita for a
Dude,
second.
you always
Dude.
got to talk about dicks, don't you?
No,
Yeah.
I don't.
We'll do some subscribes. You know, you gotta follow if I beat you. But if you beat me, we'll talk. I'll do something.
Yeah, they'll start talking, and
Let's check a beer.
texting, maybe.
But if you play with the
FaceTime.
Ravens, I'm playing with the Ravens, so don't play me. Thank you. Because they're cheating. I'll fuck you up. So.
Listen, fuckers. All right. Thank you for listening to the AVG Fantasy Football Podcast. We are your personal fantasy football consigliaries. I put that as our slogan on our YouTube. Now, give us a subscribe on YouTube if you're on YouTube right now. It really is awesome. You get notified whenever we drop fantasy football knowledge, and we try and keep these podcasts fun. We like to, really get deep with the stats, but also we like to enjoy it, talk about penises, popping Viagra, things like that.
Don't
Now-
put weed.
Yeah, don't put weed.
Okay,
I'm not
right. Dad just does. Okay, now follow us on Instagram at AverageBros_fantasyfootball, and you can answer any type of questions you guys have. But so anything else I want to say here? Twitter at AverageBrosFFP. All these links are down below in the description. Yeah. So thank you for listening. This has been the AVG Fantasy Football Podcast. We're out. I just fucking
Guadalajara.
Saca la tecas.